been on TV many times, never been on a live stream.
Welcome to Best Bet Live tonight, everybody. Got Jordan Spina in the booth tonight. We will be joined with special guest Jack Sumner. Most of y'all probably know him as GT Jack. We'll get him in the booth very shortly. Looking forward to a good game tonight. Once again, this is 2-2, no limit, deep stack. Best Bet Jacksonville.
2-2, no limit, table 33. 33. 33.
35 is the bet from 9. Fold 5. Fold 6. Fold 8. Going good. Thank you.
So is there a mic on the table too? Oh, it's right there. Okay, I should look at that.
But yes.
So don't swear.
No, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just,
I don't want to get you. My guy can't swear this guy right here.
just don't do what one of our former players did and incriminated himself.
Yeah. Take videos everywhere.
Well, they do. When you steal people's money, they tend to track.
Jack, you there?
Yeah.
Call 8. Call 9. Fold 1. Call 2.
Great.
Raise 15 from the 3. Fold 4. Fold 5. 6 folds. 7 folds. 8 folds. Call 9. And call 2. 3 players.
Hey Jordan, it's GT Jack. How you doing
Hey,
tonight?
Jack. There you are.
Check 2.
Everything sound okay on your end?
Yep, everything's great.
Cool. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How's the game? Looks like we're just getting started.
Yep, just getting started. Looks like it should be a pretty good game.
Outstanding. Well, I don't know who we got on the table yet, but I'll see who I know. And
You don't recognize any of these guys yet?
no, I really don't. But let's go around here.
All right, we got Matthew there in the 1 seat,
We're going to straddle and seat.
Trey in the 2 seat, Julian in the 3, Justin in the 4,
That's a her good play.
Christian in the 5, Sean in the 6, Dakota in the 7 seat, Mike in the 8 seat, and Corey in the 9 seat.
Gotcha.
So weird to see him pull out a putt.
All right,
look
2-2,
fairly,
no limit.
Fairly not regular players. You're right. I don't recognize many of these faces from having been on the stream
The more stuff
too much previously.
Yeah. You know, since Best Bet's really been jumping up the Best Bet live streaming, a lot of poker clubs and groups from other cities are making trips to come in and play on the stream. I think it's great for them to get exposure, great for Best Bet to get the exposure. So I do recognize, I think I recognized Trey. I think he was seat 2, but
Yeah, he was in the 2 seat. But the 2-5 games, they don't draw too much in the live streams, but these 2-2 games, they seem to draw a pretty big and diverse crowd. They want to get in on this 2-2 live stream action.
no, absolutely, Jordan. And, I think a lot of them, the chips fly. These are actually fun games to watch because the chips are flying, not always ABC poker. A lot of times it's friends that know one another, and they're just damned and determined to bluff right into the nuts because it's their friend. But we'll see how the dynamics of this table turn out.
Yeah, we're just about, let's see how many hands we're in so far. Probably 2 or 3. Yeah, it's just number 2 here now.
Is max buy-in in this game still 5? Is it more than 500? I think you upped the limits for a little bit, but
Correct.
It may be 500 in this one.
Yeah, 1 to 500.
Got it. So it looks like a lot of people, most of them bought in for the max. That's good.
Yeah, most of them came in for near the max, 4 or 5 range.
All right. Well, it looks like Christian just called set mining with a pair of fives. We don't know what Dakota has, so we're going to play mystery hand game, which is always my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Christian's going to call any C bet here, typically, just not believing that Dakota's got a jack. And so I think a call here. Christian's going to shut down unless he's got a hand like king, queen, ace, queen here. Check, check. Fives are going to be good here, almost counterfeited. Queens and fives should take this one down. Still never saw what Dakota had.
It was good enough to win, whatever it was.
Yeah, guess so. He may have turned over pocket
was.
eights, pocket nines, something like that. A smaller pocket pair would have played that way as well.
Yeah, it showed pocket eights there at the end.
Oh, did he? Okay, cool.
Yep.
I can't see any of the chats on Facebook or Twitch. Is there any way to fix that, Jordan, or read off some of the comments?
I have the Twitch right here. It's not many people in it besides your comment. I'm having problems getting on Facebook. Jesse messed with some of the credentials, and I need to square that up. But YouTube, let me check.
It's all right. No worries. I can see it on my other device, so I can at least
I think
answer
it's
questions. Cool. Well, if you see any chat comments that are worthy of talking about, just call them out and we can talk about them.
Oh, yeah. Get into some Mark Rick conversation later, maybe.
Yeah, I mess with so many of my buddies that are Georgia Bulldogs today with Mark Rick. Those of you in the Twitter audience or the social media out there, YouTube or Facebook, Mark Rick, ex-coach, longtime coach for the Georgia Bulldogs, was at Georgia Tech today wearing Georgia Tech attire and pasting pictures all over social media, and it was really messing with some Georgia Bulldog fans.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, he was actually there doing a TV show for the ACC network. He's a commentator on the ACC network. So I guess they were doing some sort of skit or comedy thing, taping on Georgia Tech campus, and sort of made social media rounds today. So see what that is in the fall when it airs.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not the most popular right now in Athens.
Probably not, but I think Miami's happy to get rid of him.
I'm sure.
He's a good guy, though, a real good coach. Some of my most
I always had a bias towards him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Try and commentate on some hands here. You got me talking about Georgia Tech and Mark Rick. I'll talk Georgia Tech. I'll just like a squirrel. I'll chase it like a shiny object.
We can get into some Jeff Sims talk later, too, if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so King 4 is going to be a muck. Queen 7 for Christian. 10-7, Sean's going to get rid of it. Queen Jack in this spot, late in position. It's a good raise. 20 is a little big for a 2-2 standard. That's only 5 big blinds raise, so, or a 10 big blind raise, actually. So looks like they're opening pretty big on the table so far. That seems to be 15 or 20 is the standard bet for a 2-2 game. That's a little higher than normal.
Yeah.
Could just be the adrenaline rushing and new game and everybody just getting acclimated. But it's a good sign for a healthy live game if we're opening that big.
Oh, most definitely.
Dakota's going to raise with King Jack, Queen Jack. He's going to raise with A7. Nope, just made a call. Okay, interesting. Everybody's going to call kind of wide with $2. It's just sort of a gamble fest. 5-4 can flop a 6-7-8 or 3-5s for quads. So everybody's sort of going to see a lot of flops when the bet's $2. So looks like Queen 8 of diamonds is got the lead right here. Actually, 10 Jack's got more equity with a double belly buster. Well, and it gets there, 9 right there on the turn. So he's got the nuts. And with, the only hand that's really going to have any equity here would be a spade draw, but nobody's got that. So I don't see any calls. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I'm getting used to this screen. Julian bet out, and so Matthew just decided to smooth call, and in that position with his hand and his strength, it's the only thing he's got to worry about is spade draw. So might as well let Julian keep bluffing here, which
So
he
Julian
does.
bet the turn there on a gut shot.
Yeah. So he was looking for a gut shot to the low end or the sucker straight. That's never really a good spot to be in, but I don't mind him bluffing at it if nobody had anything behind him. He's taking down the pot. He's got some equity to hit that gut shot, but in this case, he's very happy that he didn't hit it.
Yeah.
Sometimes in poker, people always complain they don't hit their card and they're not running good. Well, the trick about poker is sometimes when you don't hit your card, you actually are running good. You just don't know
That's
it.
right. He'll know it later.
Raise to 22 from the 9. Fold 1, fold 2.
Yeah, nah, everybody's raised to 22 with queen 6 and the hijack. That's ambitious raise, but came to play a little bit. Mike's going to fight back a little bit. Called the 18 with a7, and Christian called chasing hearts, 9 high. That's okay. Looks like they checked around on the flop, or they all checked out. They just all checked dark. It looked like they just fired pretty quick. Looks like Mike's going to bet out with a pair of aces. Definitely the best hand. I don't see what's going to be calling him here unless queen 6 is calling for a gut shot 10, which would be kind of crazy. So, all right.
Nothing too crazy happening yet. It seems like pretty standard.
Nah. Yeah.
Should just be the beginning now.
Yeah. So, Jordan, were you around for the mystery high hand promotion they had last weekend?
I wasn't. I actually had that day off.
I was curious if they called my name. I couldn't be there, and I had 3 tickets in there.
I would assume they would have reached out by now.
Well, you had to be present. If you didn't claim it within a certain time frame, they'd call out another name. So,
that's right.
All right, looks like we got a suited ace-9 and a king-queen that are getting in. Mike raised, Corey 3-bet to 55. It's not a bad spot to 3-bet with this game, filling it out. Still not comfortable enough with the players to know who's playing tight, who's playing loose. So don't mind the 3-bet, but got basically 10% of his stack in pre-flop with king queen, but you never know. You can just flop a king high and have the best hand here. So Mike's going to check with his suited ace, and Corey's going to bet out. I think I like this bet. It's small enough in relation to the pot that Mike's going to call if he has anything.
Yeah, but he's not going to spend 50 for a backdoor there.
No, that pot inflated to about 10% of everybody's stack size there, just pre-flop. $50 bet pre-flop, and stacks are about 500 right now. So it's in proportion a pretty high bet.
Maybe give or take a few zeros.
More watch on my YouTube and Twitch.
Fold 8, fold 9.
All we gotta do is hit a bad.
Trey in C2's got an ace-9, and he's in the hijack. That's worthy of an opening. So it's $4 to call. They may be straddling. That may be one of the bets are jumping up here. It's actually a 3-bet. If it's just a straddle out there.
I haven't noticed. Have they been playing a mandatory straddle or something?
Well, it's the first time I've seen call 4. I've seen a lot of call 2, so I don't think anything's mandatory yet, but they could have swapped up. I've seen them do that before, just get the stakes up a little bit higher. But we got another mystery hand with Christian. Looks like Sean's going to flop top pair with a king kicker. And really Trey's just on a pair draw or a runner straight. So there's not much equity there for him. But he's going to fire out with a C bet. Don't mind it. Minnie gets called. I expect him to shut down here on the turn. And then, Sean can bet or check. Still don't know what Christian has. Everybody's, well, now unless somebody's got an ace-jack here, king, queen, and Sean's got this locked up. So the only one that's going to have an ace-jack is going to be Christian. I don't think he's played it like he's had an ace-jack. He just, the way he's playing pretty timid, so pre-flop. So Sean's going to make a bet. I'd like to see about a $50 bet, nothing more. I don't think there's many strong hands out there that are going to call him. Can't see what he bet though. 80. That's a little higher than 50, but he looks like he's getting a quick call here by Christian. Christian might have something like queen 10 or king 10.
No, I think Christian bet and Sean called.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, all right. Sorry, I'm getting used to the new format here. I saw it out of order. Or maybe the display's just one player behind. I'm watching a player bet, but the other player had already checked. I couldn't see. I'll get used to it. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Yeah,
Never saw
I don't
Christian
mind
out
the.
there though.
Right, but it couldn't be a straight flush. They had another one for that. Because you had quad night, a straight flush, and then you could hit it was much smaller. So finally, some guy.
So we got another strat on this hand.
No, it was a round by round. They hit it on.
Fold 9.
They hit it on.
Yeah.
Fold 1. Fold 2.
Texas Hold'em at a short table.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's a little bit of delay. All right, well, everybody's got a mystery hand. Let's call it out and see what we got. All right, it's reset now.
Uh-oh. Never mind. That's the action tracker trying to get squared up there.
Got it. Well, it looks like C4's bet out. That's Justin. He's bet out with pocket tens. Not a good spot, but that's a really big bet. I tend to put people on jacks, tens, or ace king, ace queen when they make a really large opening bet, because they just don't want to see with pocket tens. They want to see a jack, queen, king, or ace on the flop. That's going to come a high enough percentage of the time. If they're not very comfortable playing post flop, you're going to see a lot bigger bets. It's a tell for a lot of different players when they're betting that big pre flop. But as it turns out, this king did flop. That's what Justin didn't want to see.
Yeah, just like you said, 2 overs right there, right on the floor. So Dakota bets here with 6-5.
Yeah, with ace king, this is, at this point there are some scary hands he could be betting with. Fours, king jack, even, now an eight, a queen 9. There's a lot of hands here. So ace king at this point is just a bluff catcher. I think it's just going to go bluff call, and maybe shut down on the river. Just depends what we see on the river or on the card. Wow. All right, so Dakota decided to fight back right there instead of call. He just gonna take it down. Didn't want to see any scary turn cards. An ace or whatever would on the river would put a 4-card straight out there. So he's gonna take his equity right there on the turn. So, Jordan, you getting excited for the WPT Deek Stacks coming in next weekend? I think they start it's Thursday, maybe, right?
I believe it was the 20th. Am I wrong? Friday?
Well, sometimes they do Thursday, Friday, Saturday flights for event one. So I think that's probably the setup. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I
Let me
think
pull it up to be sure.
it might be Thursday, day 1A, day 1B, or it could be a Friday, Saturday, day 1A, day 1B.
Yeah, it's a Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Flight 1 is the 20th at noon. So yeah, that'll be kickstarting our WPT spring event. Should be a lot of fun.
Cool. It looks like Julian in seat 3's opened up. He's middle position with ace-10 offsuit, but he's walked into a monster with Sean on his left, a couple seats over with king-king. He's got the button. Buttons are going to be a little more aggressive by definition, so a lot of times people won't believe a button raise. This is pretty big raise. It's 46 to call. He's got $4 invested. He's dominated by hands like ace-jack, ace-king, ace-queen, pocket tens, pocket jacks. So there's a lot of scary hands for Julian to call a $46 raise with only $4 invested. But we'll see what happens here. He's going to go ahead and make the call. So he's facing on Justin's in as well with a mystery hand. So this will be fun. King, ace, he got queen, a 3-outer on the flop. That's pocket tens, pocket jacks. So there's a lot. Really, a card Sean didn't really want to see.
Yeah. How standard is that, though, Jack, though? Coming with pocket kings and an ace hits you right on the flop?
Yeah, it's kind of not standard for Julian to dunk bet out $50 when an ace flops. Sean's going to see if he believes him because of that dunk bet, but a dunk bet's typically, it's becoming more in vogue nowadays, and especially in tournament poker, but it's still a bet that basically signifies as a tell that I got top pair, and he's trying to take the hand down right there. But with the turn of a 10, he's feeling more confident, and Sean paid him off. I guess it might have gone check on the river with, I guess, some scare cards out there, straight out there maybe, but unfortunate. Yeah, you can hear him on the table talking about the ace magnets. When you have pocket kings, those are ace magnets. They're sort of reinforcing that.
It's just crazy how often that seems like it happens.
You always remember when it does happen and you have kings, but very rarely do you remember those times that you flop a king with kings and you're up against ace-king, which is always a fun scenario. I don't remember many of those, but I know it's happened before.
It's so funny how the betting metric
I'm sure of it.
like a live table compared to like a normal 2-2 table. You go like 2, 2, 5, 75. And everyone's like, 6 calls. 6 calls. All day, no question. You're a normal 2-2 game, everyone's like, what the hell are you doing, man?
All right, Jack, I think we got the stream up on Facebook now, so we're up on all 3 platforms now.
Oh, great. Well, welcome to those of you in Facebook.
They'll probably slowly be coming on there.
Not the best flop for pocket fives. He's more worried about the king than than the 9, but there's 2 overs to my 5s. He did a C bet. I don't mind the C bet because he could equally have ace king as he could have pocket 5s, but now he's got called. He's got a choice here. He's going to stick with the king story and try and force the 5s off, or get some value betting. The 9's actually ahead, but I think he's worried about kings when he gets called there on the flop. I'd be worried about kings now when or the 5's bet out again on the turn. Okay. Well, it makes the fact.
Was a call, or if he came over the top with his 9. Oh yeah, he's all in for a little more.
Yeah. That's pretty scary all in because, there could be a king out there. He's just not convinced. 5s are going to lose here to the 9-8. Yeah, that action, the way I understand it, the king is clearly in Mike's range. And Dakota didn't think about it too much when he snapped there.
Did the flop get bet there, or was it checked through to the turn?
No, the 5C bet the flop, and then bet the turn in the river, which was confusing because the minute I'm betting that flop and I get called, and then I'm betting the turn with another king pairs the board, and I'm getting called, I'm definitely not firing all in on the river, but
Right.
he felt pretty good about the pocket nines.
And then you figure at that point he's just too invested to get off it when he gets raised there on the river.
Yeah. Oh, can we pull up winners and losers and chip stacks? Is that something?
Yeah, sure.
Just curious how the early starting stacks have shifted. Trey's opening up under the gun early position with pocket sevens. You got to have a little bit tighter range opening up early. Sean in late position hijack is waking up with ace queen. This is a standard 3-bet. Sometimes making the call, but in this game, I think I'm probably gonna 3-bet.
I'm gonna run those stats for you when this hand ends, Jack.
That's perfect. Thank you, Jordan.
Of course.
Well, you know, the graphic originally said Trey raised. Now it says he calls. So now it looks like Sean is making the first bet. And king, queen, right to the left. Mike and seat 8's going to make the call, dominated. And sevens is looking pretty good in equity with them both sharing a queen. Wow. And, you know, you could flop quads and just lock up the hand. So at this point, at this point, you check, hoping somebody catches something. God, you want a queen so bad on the river. He doesn't know what he needs, but he knows he wants somebody to hit something.
Well, he gets it there. Sean leads out there for 25.
Yeah, with so much weakness. Sean's late in position. He could represent having an 8 here, pretty easy, but he's.
Trey's just gonna call.
Yeah, smart. Why would you want? And there's what he needed, the ace on the river.
Sure,
this is yeah, Mike's going to get away from this, but certainly. What? They all checked?
Check down.
Well,
high hand though.
Yeah, you know, Trey's playing the check call game. Let them bluff into me, but with and you got quads. You got to lead out on that river. He missed some equity. I don't know how many times he's had quads before, but in that stage, I think I probably got to lead out with a bet, hoping that somebody's got something. And I'd made it a healthy bet. I'd made it 3/4 of the pot, hoping to get called by somebody with an ace.
Now he was first to act there, right? And checked on the river.
Yeah, he wanted to check raise, and the players behind him decided, they don't know he's got quads, but it's very easy for somebody in there to have a 3 sevens, 1 7 in his hand. So they're never going to bet in that spot. So when he bet on the turn, and when he got called on the turn, he's never going to bet in that spot. So he's got to lead out.
So we got Jesse and the boss in the chat. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, boss man. Yeah, he definitely should have bet the river. I can see some of the check going, but I don't mind the check on the turn and on the flop and the turn. But with both players behind him and an ace on the river, you're hoping somebody hit the ace, and you're going to lead out there. And like I said, I would have bet healthy because on the river you're going to call with all the weakness going into that hand. Looks like Corey had ace-jack suited. Good hand in this game for certain. That's a premium hand in this game. Looks like Elise is doing a good job dealing. Always.
Oh, yeah. Elise is one of our better dealers, as you can see on our live stream.
So I can see in the Twitch chat some folks already asking about the giveaway. See, we just jinxed it. You see, Elise just messed up with that card. Looks like it stuck to her finger and flipped up. Praise, we give her a compliment.
You know, we talked about the commentator's curse last week, you know, talking about how the field goal kicker is so good it never misses, and then as soon as you say it, he shanks one, right?
Yep, exactly.
It's 2 weeks in a row we cursed him.
Sorry about that, Elise. But yeah, it's funny.
Flights are gonna be like free. Like they're gonna pay you to get onto a flight.
Like I said, when did that? Like I said, when did that?
Oh, I was getting ready to say, folks in Twitch. I was getting ready to say, on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was getting ready to say on the radio show today. I was A6 is going to flop the most equity here with the bottom pair, but everybody else has got 2 overs. A great card for Dakota here is going to be an ace. Not that I'm necessarily rooting for that, but just like to see good commentary, good scenarios running out. That'd be tough flopping 2 pair aces at 6s with ace jack and ace queen flopping.
All right, Jack, holy cow. I don't know if you heard that on your end, but we were having some audio issues there.
Yeah, I quit talking because I couldn't really hear. It was staticky for a second, but we got a decent hand going on here. 2 overcards versus bottom pair, both with the ace kicker. So an ace given Dakota 2 pair would make him some money against Corey. Corey doesn't know what he's got. Dakota's betting out. Healthy, but about a third of a pot. And ace queen's got a tough call here with nothing but ace queen high. It's got 1 hard blocker, but I don't think that really is going to apply in this setup. All right, Corey makes the call. He's looking for a queen.
Doesn't get there.
No, it's not going to get there. Dakota's making a small little value bet, $80 into a rather large pot, $280 pot. So really small little value bet. Definitely reeks value. Corey's just trying to decide, is ace queen high good enough here? I think he's really worried. Does Dakota have a pair? Did he miss some sort of heart or straight draw? A random 9 in his hand or a couple hearts, Dakota bet it all the way there. Got the most, I think.
All right, Jack, I'm going to run these stats up for you now that we got everything squared away. The current win-loss.
All right, Jillian and Dakota jumped up there, and Mike, Christian, Sean on the bottom side of the leaderboard.
Some pretty big swings there for 15 hands in, huh?
Yeah, you know, it was the king-queen hand versus the king-king hand versus ace-10, and
Right.
Kings just couldn't let it go, and can't remember what the other one was. All right, Dakota's back in the seat here. Early position, going to limp for 2. Corey raises with suited jack-8 in middle position. Don't mind that raise. That's a standard raise in a cash game. Suited connectors, jack-8, one of those hands that people like. They can really flop some tricky, hard to see straights, and in this case, flushes too. As it works out, Ace High still in the lead. Actually, Ace High got a little bit better with pair of deuces on this flop. Everybody else is just on some sort of runner or pair hope. All right, well, Dakota got better, 2 pair. I don't see Julian continuing here. He's only live to a blackjack if the other player doesn't have diamond flush, so he's drawing up against some pretty heavy odds.
Gets there.
But he's just going to get there, just going to call and get there. This is the cruel game we love at times.
Yeah. Dakota knows there. His 2 pairs probably not any good.
Yeah, but you're asking yourself, did this guy call me with the queen on the flop, the turn? He couldn't have. He's got 2 pair also, and my 2 pair's better. It's what's going through his mind when he makes this call.
Yeah,
yes, he called you with a queen high, but the reason he did is because he got, 3 diamonds on the turn, and he had the queen of diamonds in his hand, so he was continuing for the straight value as well, but it's really hard to see that queen be showing up there unless it was exactly that, a diamond or some other, a pair with a straight and diamond draw.
Yeah, you're right, Jack. He did pick up some equity there with the diamond on the turn, but
it's just real easy to talk yourself in that spot that there's no way he had a queen. What would he call me with on the flop with a queen? What would he call me with a turn with a queen? And, he just had that flush draw too.
I'm watching them line up from like the 1 yard line, right? They hike the ball and I hear
All right, looks like there's a straddle on this hand. Mike makes the call for $4. Matthew made a raise with one of my favorite hands, 8-10 suited. Don't mind this 3-bet at all. Especially the fact that Mike has been kind of loose at this point. We're starting to get a feel for the players, and it seems like Mike's in with a lot of hands. In this case, it could very well be. It's hard to tell who's the straddle. I don't know if Mike calling 4 is how the computer signifies a $4 straddle or not. Do you know? Yeah. All right. Well, we got double belly buster here, looks like, with the 8-10. No, not double belly buster, but definitely a straight draw. Looks like Dakota's got the most equity here with the flush. All the straight draws are dead to Dakota's flush. Trying to see as the graphics go by here what hands might call. I could see Christian making a call trying to hit his straight. He's open-ended. And top pair trying to make 2 pairs, what Mike's looking like he's going for. So the 9 would have gotten the 8-10 there, but they folded out to Mike's and Christian's action. So looks like the 8-10 folded his straight draw, and it's a good thing he did because the flush is still good. Dakota's gonna make a bet of 85 into a $200 pot, almost half pot. And trying to see Christian's possibly calling with here. I'm wondering if the graphics are wrong because Christian called with 6 high. Oh, he raised. He raised. Sorry. Okay. So he raised and got snapped, and then just shipped the money over. All right. Well, I don't mind. Don't mind the raise there. It's a scary board, and it could work a lot of times.
Thank you.
We like the bluff catcher over here. Straddle's a good luck.
All right. Let's see what we got. Trey here is going to open up with ace queen. It's a good open. Let's see what he bets it up to. $4 to 20. The straddle on, that's about average for this table. Coda's making a call with a mystery hand. Mike's going to go ahead and make a call, and Mike's under the gun with king 7, so he was the straddle, so he just went ahead and called his straddle with king 7. Good flop for Trey here. Top pair, top kicker. Not really much for Mike. Let's see what Dakota's action is. See if we can figure out what his mystery hand might be. He's looking at it, thinking about it. It's a bet of 60 into $80 pot, so that's a pretty big bet. 3/4 pot with top pair, top kicker. If Mike's seriously, Dakota's seriously thinking about it, but lets it go. Wonder what he had. King 7 gets out of the way. Trey's going to take down the pot.
Thank you.
I don't have it on. I know I have to another stream.
Count us in the table share too. Come on now.
Look, man, building a bigger stack just for getting the quad. I'm okay.
Who we have in the Twitch stream out there? Any regulars out there in the Twitch stream?
I'll be right back.
Would you get 300? Is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Hopefully my wife is still watching.
Yeah, there you go. Well, she knows where you're at. If she's not, it's an extra 300 for you. Yeah.
All right.
How'd you do it?
Sorry.
Trying to get those nice
Okay, looks like Jillian's got pocket tens. He's making a C bet on a queen high flop, 2 diamonds, 10 deuce, can't really continue. Gonna take down the pot, nice C bet. Sorry, the graphics were freezing for a second. Sorry if there was a little silence on the stream, but I'm back up now.
You know, over there, I've seen what was this thing? Oh, a face card. What's that? I don't think there's any on this table that. Well, 6-3 suited, I'm raising.
Yeah, face cards for the rookies.
Something's halfway connected here. I'm okay.
All right, looks like Trey's gonna start after the straddle. Jillian 7-5 gonna get rid of it. Justin with the 9-4. I wouldn't be playing that. Suited ace-3, good hand for Christian. Might open here, but he's gonna go. Okay, he did open 18.
We're all gonna watch stream later. It's gonna be like ace queen, ace jack. Fold.
Mike's gonna go ahead and see a flop with suited 4-5 of hearts, and Corey with an ace deuce. Let's just see if you can flop a wheel. Looks like they rolled the whole board out. I couldn't tell if the check went faster than the graphics. I can't. There we go. All right, so a 2-3 open-ended for Mike on the flop. I think those graphics are wrong. I know I saw a 2 on the flop. All right, there we go. And 3 hearts on the board, so 4-5 of hearts is looking pretty strong here. He's making a bet of 70 into, well, really a $70 pot almost, or $60 pot. So he sort of overbet, took down $40 in profit with that pot. I say that a lot with players when they make a baby flush on the turn. They're worried about somebody just having the ace or king of hearts and another heart coming on the river. So they sort of overbet the pot. In many ways, that's a clear tell to me at times that they got the flush because they're overbetting it. Other players will do that with absolutely nothing. So you just got to get used to the players at your table and get comfortable with who can do what. Looks like Christian starting out, Queen 8 suited. He's early position. Can't tell what he's. All right, looks like he just made a little raise to 15. I like that raise with Queen 8 of clubs. Mike's going to come along with pocket 4s. Can't tell what Corey did. All right, looks like Corey made the call with a mystery hand. So King Jack is the nuts right now on this flop. But with a pair of queens, looks like Mike bet out with pocket 4s. So he's done this before with a pair on the flop, just trying to see what's out there. Christian folded, so that lead out on the flop just sort of worked. He dunked back right in with a small pair on a ace queen 10 board with 2 diamonds. So just basically turning his hand into a bluff, taking action on that flop. It's a scary flop and got everybody to fold. Easy way to steal the pot.
Correct. Yeah, he was here playing. I think it was the
it also have to match. I mean, I'm sure there's multiple manufacturers of the table.
It's like we're changing out dealers.
I think it's like when you go to live.
I'm sure the software has to synchronize, like their chip
I think
has
it's like a radar that goes well. Not radar, but you know something.
I think I saw one person running right underneath here, and then there's no water.
There's basically it's like a reader. It works kind of like, you know how when you take your phone and you wave it up for Apple Pay or something like that. It's very similar to that.
I would just take the cheap road out. I know we've all seen those videos online where it's like just a clear table, put them in the box, and then the cameras are looking up. And I would do that for sure. Like I'd be like, it costs how much? Oh no, thank you. Like,
Or with the camera right in
yeah, that's so cost you a lot of money to do that. Yeah, I'd go for the clear.
All right. Next hand, Corey's got that hand I talked about that I like, 10-8 suited clubs on the button. He's going to raise it up to 22. Seems like a good raise. See what King 5's going to fold. Dakota's in the hijack late position. Looks like, not sure if the card reader underneath Dakota's hand, well, he's putting them in the box, so something may be wrong with Dakota's card readers. So we're getting lots of mystery hands, but I kind of like it. 9-6 king, rainbow flop. I'm going to c-bet this. If I'm Corey, probably half pot, $25. That's exactly what he bet, and Dakota's going to call. So, all right, let's try and figure out what Dakota might have right here. I think he's calling. He could have a king. He could have a 10 jack of diamonds. Got some runner options, good turn cards. The queen would be good for 10 jack, but I don't see him having that, especially with this continuation bet on the turn, and takes it down. I like the way Corey played that. Aggressive, didn't let off the pedal. And
When we started dating like 8.5 years ago, my wife now came up there and she met me up here or something like that. She quickly learned like 30 minutes later, okay, I'm not going back up here anymore.
I would never even want her to come up here, honestly. Like, you're going to be miserable. Like, you're just sitting there. Unless they're playing.
When we were first dating, she asked me, like, can I go? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And
Did she want to play?
She got bored watching and wanted to learn how to play, so she started playing. It was like 1-2 limit at the time. It sucks going home when she has one.
Yeah.
I think that's probably better though. Because it makes it feel amazing. Because it's like it's worth a couple of hundred. Because she had a good time, she made money, and then she's like, "Ha, I did better than you."
Well, and that's.
All right, looks like Dakota's raised another mystery hand. Sean's going to call with the pocket fives, try and do a little set mining. King, queen in early position. Justin was already in. He was the straddle, so he's going to go ahead and call 18. King, queen, see a flop. Don't blame him there.
Yeah, she hasn't played. She'll come if I
Let's see what kind of flop we can get.
play for a while.
All right, 8, 9, deuce, 2 diamonds. It's a pretty good flop for pocket five. She don't feel bad with this hand, but Dakota was the opening raiser pre-flop, so Dakota bet out $50 and just took it down. Got pocket fives default on that flop. Dakota's been playing a lot of hands. I might have just called fives floated just to see the turn, just one time. If he makes a big bet on the turn, okay, I'll believe he has an overpair. But with pocket fives on that flop and the way Dakota's been so active, I might just float that flop.
Which I don't encourage. I don't encourage anybody to play poker. But my wife tells me all the time she wants to learn how to play because she's an overthinker. So she says, yeah, I'll be good at this game, and that's the reason why I don't want to play. No, Paul Pierce had a whole thing. He did an interview with Card. He really, but they were playing on the plane. Right. Yeah. Article just came out today about the Wade with the same.
All right. Looks like Corey still being active because opening $15. The bet size for Corey is about 15. Everybody else is going 20, 22. So Corey's been pretty consistent here. Let's see. Justin's going to set mine with fours, and Mike, who limped in, is going to go ahead and call it with 7-9 offsuit. Let's see what. If you're gonna call your early position limp with 7-9 offsuit, that's a pretty good flop. 2 9s and a king. This is Mike's got the hand locked up. Hopefully he's just gonna call these bets. Justin's firing out with pocket fours, and Mike's just gonna hopefully smooth call. Hey, Jordan, can we get the stats in the chat? They're asking for the stats. All right, well, pocket fours eventually got the message. The trib nines were out there. Nice little pot. On to the next hand. Hey, Jordan, if you can hear me, we could get the voluntary put-in pot percentages and some of the other stats. The folks in Twitch are looking for them.
What can you expect? I had the one ex-Patriots player make it pretty deep this year in the main event. Yeah.
All right. We'll try and get the stats up in a second. Jordan may have stepped out, taking care of some of those early technical issues, but he'll be back shortly. We'll get some stats up. Corey's waking up with some big playable starting hands here. Another pocket pair for Corey. He's raised up to 17 with pocket eights. Ace 9, Julian in seat 3. Looks like he's thinking about making a raise. Yeah, looks like he made $35 raise with ace 9. Definitely see pocket eights calling here, but let's see if anybody else gets in the middle with a hand. We definitely got to see Dakota's cards that time, so they may have got that fixed. That may be where Jordan's at. Pretty much just a coin flip here, but in a cash game, it doesn't have the same meaning as it does in a tournament setup. Oh, wow. Well, this is a cooler flop for sure. So we got ace, king, 8, set of 8s for Corey, and top pair to the pre-flop raiser, Julian, who's sure to make a C-bet here. Questions whether Corey's going to raise or call. He don't mind a raise here with the spades out there, but can't always be afraid. Might as well. Okay, he's going to go ahead and make the raise. a pretty small raise in hindsight. It's raised to 130. Only 80 more to call for Julian and 250 in the pot. You know, getting better than 3-1. So, you know, we can see by the math here that he's pretty much the set of eights for Corey's a lock to win this hand, but Julian doesn't know that. And with a raise here, he's only worried about hands like ace eight or pocket eights. I don't think he's worried about a hand like ace king where the pre-flop action went. Guess he could be worried about bigger aces, but he's gonna go ahead and make the call and reevaluate here on the turn. So the question's what's Corey gonna do? He's locked up the hand. He doesn't know that with the third spade coming out. It is a bit of a scare card. So if Julian's gonna make a bluff, this is not the worst card to do it with. So Corey's gonna shut down with the spades coming. Julian's gonna ship on the bluff. And if Corey can find the call, his weakness on that turn basically netted him a pretty decent pot. Yep, he didn't take much long, so it was a good check by Corey. It looks like the set of eights are going to take it down, and a pretty big pot, over $1,000. That's the big pot of the night so far for Corey. Well played, checking the set of eights on the turn.
Hey, Jack, I'm back.
Oh, hey, there you are. Folks in the... Go ahead.
I was out there helping the crew out, take some breaks, so.
Makes a lot of sense. The folks in Twitch were asking for some stats, VPIP and some others. And
sure,
the money stats are going to probably change here pretty drastically. We're the biggest pot of the night right now. Corey just won over $1,000 pot.
Oh yeah, hey, see, I had to switch a card out here. We were having a couple little problems. Ace of diamonds was funky.
Got it.
All right, let's run some stats. VPIP coming at you.
Yeah, Dakota's been very active. We know that. Mike and Corey as well. Corey's action paid off there with a set of eights, just winning over $1,000 pot.
Yeah, there's Corey up there.
Corey, yeah, well, he was the big loser. He was playing big hands, but winning $1,000 pot, now he's up almost $500. So that's a really big swing for him. And Christian flip-flopped with him having a top pair on that board with a set versus a set.
See if we missed anything in the chats here. Villain Poker, sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. We do not, to my knowledge, have the April schedule up yet. As soon as we do, we'll make sure to get that sent to you. Undoubtedly, we'll have some 2-2 games scheduled though. All right, Jack. I remember seeing this hand live, and it's pretty.
Oh,
tricky.
all right. So we're gonna hit a set of deuces on the river, is what you're telling me.
Something like that.
Or no, maybe a deuce of clubs. No, can't be a deuce of clubs. So what could it be? You got me on. Ace of clubs. There you go.
Disgusting. Oh, God.
The two of clubs. Got it. All right, I see it. 4-card flush. Yeah, that's a little ugly. But
yeah.
Shame on him for letting the deuces get to the river like that. He should have bet them off.
That's right. Being a dealer, I get a lot of flack for getting somebody there like that, and I say the same thing. I say We let him get there. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you're in a tricky spot as a dealer because you can't really berate one of your customers by coaching them. But you're thinking it for sure.
Sure.
Okay. So, you understand.
Well, she's HR. She hires all the community leaders.
Right. Right.
Yeah, 6.
All right.
But yeah, I get it because she gets the phone calls at 9 at night, 6 in the morning.
All right, here we go. Corey getting another decent starting hand. Ace Jack suited, diamonds. Diamonds have been hitting tonight too. He's probably feeling pretty good here, even though he's in early position. Julian's gonna see the flop for Ace 7 offsuit. King 10 looks like they're coming in. Oh, Dakota. Wow, we got the card reader working for Dakota because he's gonna bump it up here.
This should be a good one.
Yeah, Corey's definitely going to call. So Dakota 3-bets to 55. That's a decent 3-bet, but in this game, Ace-Jack suited in cash game, I think definitely going to make the call. I'm not sure anybody else will make this call. Who's behind Corey? If Corey calls, I'm wondering. Nope, Sean acts before Corey, so probably just going heads up. Pocket queens versus Ace-Jack suited. Queens with a huge advantage.
So he's got to have the case ace. He's got to hit.
All right, King of Spades, 6 of Clubs, 4 diamonds. Queens are still good. No luck for the Ace Jack. Of course, Dakota's betting out here, hoping that Corey doesn't have Ace King. You know, when you make a big 3-bet like that, you get called. Ace King, King Queen, hands like that are certainly in Corey's range when you have queens. Corey's thinking about it. There's only 1 diamond. He's going to let it go. I think that's the right call, especially with Dakota showing strength. You can talk yourself into spots where you think your ace high might be good, because when we pulled up the VPIP, the percentage players are voluntarily putting money in the pot. Dakota's playing a lot of hands. But having a premium hand there, you know, you got Ace Jack suited, you start talking to yourself that your hand's good, but did a good job getting away from it that time. Looks like we got 1 player sitting out in cash games. They won't be dealt in if they're not there unless it's a time game, but we don't run time games at Best Bet for 2-2 no limit. So if the player's not sitting there, they'll be dealt out of the hand.
Yeah, Justin taking a walk there in the 4 seat.
All right. Got some less than premium hands here. Queen 10, Dakota's raising to 15. So Dakota's keeping up his high pre-flop raise, high pre-flop participation, and just happens to flop the queen. This time he's up against a bigger pair with Corey, but Corey's got a 4 kicker, so Corey's not going to be too excited about his hand if Dakota keeps putting pressure on. But it looks like it's check, 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 and we're going to see a turn. Oh, and the turn, of course, got to give Dakota 2 pair. So now he's going to bet out, and now Corey's going to feel stronger about his ace because Dakota didn't bet out on the flop. So we'll see what happens here.
Julian with mystery hand here. I was out there during this hand. He has 8-9 of spades right here in the 3 seat.
Oh, 8-9 of spades. All right, so he's got a gut shot and he's got a spade flush draw. So any spade, any jack's gonna help Julian out. So calling 45 with that kind of combo draw, don't hate that, especially in this game. And he gets there, 6 of spades on the river, and it was disguised enough runner that players are going to have a hard time seeing this flush or not believe it, especially somebody like Dakota with 2 pair. I think Corey, he called this? Yeah, he did call it. So this is where Julian's going to let him know that, surprise, you're beat. So what's he going to bet? I'd bet about Oh, he went all in. He didn't have a pretty
Julian
big stack.
went all in
I
there.
definitely. This shove is not going to be that out of the ordinary for a lot of hands that he could possibly be shoving with. So I don't see Dakota doing anything but paying this off. And I think Corey can get away from it. Oh, I'm wrong. He's going to call too. Overcall with this board. Well, Corey and Dakota have been the most active, and Julian just sitting there, hiding in the bushes, ready to jump out and feast. Good job by Julian.
Was there a big bet on the flop there that Julian called?
No, I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see the big bet. It checked on the flop. I think I've forgotten the player's name. I hadn't got him memorized yet.
Dakota? Corey?
Yeah, Dakota. Yeah, he raised pre-flop, and then it went check, check, check on the flop. So the turn brought 2 pair, and that brought the combo draw of a gut shot and a flush draw. So it checked the turn, and with a combo flush draw and last to act with 2 players ahead of you, and you could complete the money, the $45 bet I think it was on the turn. He's getting more than enough odds to call in late position last to act with a combo draw like that and hit it. It just turns out it was a runner combo draw, which is kind of your favorite because they're a little more disguised as a player when you hit it. And then an $85 bet in the turn on the river in front of him, an $85 call. And then he just ships all in and gets 2 more calls. That's like, talk about maxing out your hand. That was a good job.
Hey, Jack,
all right, looks like...
When you got a second,
go ahead.
If you check the Twitch chat, we got a couple guys interested in a little bit of your background. So when we get a second between hands, maybe give them a little overrun there.
Oh, all right. Let's finish out this hand. I'll give you a quick background about my amateur status. So it looks like 3-4 is going to take this down. Not a big, $116 pot, but I think most of that was built on the I don't know how they built a $116 pot. Looking at the board in this.
Yeah.
And sorry, I missed that one. I got distracted by the Twitch chat. So I'm a Jacksonville native, originally from Atlanta, Georgia Tech grad. Love Georgia Tech, not just all about sports, which everybody gravitates to, but the college, proud of it. Went to the Navy, paid my way through college. So I've always been a Georgia Tech fan. Some people started calling me one day at Best Bet, living in Jacksonville. I was always wearing my Georgia Tech hat. They started calling me GT Jack, and that name just sort of stuck, so I ran with it. I've been playing poker for 20-plus years, but mostly in a cash sense and not in any regular fashion. Definitely not a pro. I have a normal job. I'm in the IT industry. And just really started getting focusing a lot of my attention on tournament poker for the last few years, 3-4 years. And, after playing cash, there are subtle differences between the two. Looks like Sean got a pretty big hand here with pocket tens, but and he's got the 10 of diamonds, but unfortunately Corey's just outright flopped the nut flush. So this is not a good spot for Sean with a pair of tens here, which looks pretty good, but all of a sudden,
he does
10
have
of
that
diamonds.
diamond,
Is my 10 of diamonds goods? What's going through his mind here is he's worried. He thinks maybe his tens are good, but he's got a redraw with the 10 of diamonds, but he has no redraw. This is just a bad spot. The 6 of hearts, Sean doesn't know that's a good card for him, but it is a pretty good card for him, making at least his 2 other 10s still live now. If he was to hit a 10 on the river, he's got a boat over the flush, but otherwise he's drawing pretty thin here. There are some other options. Another 6 can come on the turn on the river, so that's another way to make a full house. So he's got almost 10% equity, but I like Corey's check here. I think if he bet too much, he'd lose his competition, but he's gambling here. Small percentage. His gamble paid off. No 10, no 6 on the river, and so
That's a good card for Corey, though.
Yeah, it is. It's the only combo, because a lot of times you're going to chase off people that it may have had 2 pair, because now there's 4 diamonds and any one single diamond is going to beat you. But in this case, it actually paid off. Like, he saw his cards and knew what he had, because the 10 of diamonds might actually get a small value bet, and it does. He called the $50 and wins the $142 pot. So in that case, it worked out for Corey, but in reality, I think I would have bet the turn, charging any kind of, 6 to hit a boat or any other big pocket pair like 10s. I would charge them a little bit, because you're not going to get a value bet on the river for somebody that really has 2 pair. If you bet the turn there, you're really trying to get called by a 2 pair type hand to get some money, get some value out of your equity before a scare card comes on the river. But it worked out for him. Anyhow, I've Best Bet's my home casino, and I do travel around, play a lot of tournaments. I've done fairly well in tournaments, having focused on it 3 years, but still have a full-time 8 to 5 job. I consider myself nothing but an amateur, but studied the game hard, maybe not as much as pros, just because of pure lack of time, and it's not my primary function. But love poker, been addicted to it now ever since I was in the Navy and first learned to play when you're aboard ship and there's nothing else to do. So that's a little background. Hope that helps.
Yeah, man. How many bullets you got ready for WPT?
Well, it's an interesting. Let's get through this hand, and I'll tell you my philosophy about bullets, and then see if anybody in all of our social media streams has a different opinion or wants to talk about it. Looks like Dakota got out of the way with the ace, and looks like Corey's going to take it down with king queen. Didn't really see the flop. They didn't come up on graphics. So I have different approaches. I personally love freeze outs, 1 buy-in like the main event at the World Series, because it changes the dynamics. But when we start talking about event 1 for the WPT deep stacks, it's a fairly low buy-in as far as big tournament circuits go. WPT deep stacks, what's the buy-in for event 1? Probably 360, maybe
360,
something like that. Yeah. So I always bring a few different bullets. I'll probably budget 4 bullets for event 1. But that doesn't mean I fire them all in, flight 1A or flight 1B. It's 4 bullets, and I might be 1 bullet in flight 1B and 3 bullets in flight 1D, the 4th flight. And my philosophy is I start off really aggressive. I try and steal a lot of pots. I try and bluff a lot early on. I shouldn't be saying this because a lot of people probably listening, but I look for spots to really steal chips or get big chips, and it benefits me a couple different ways. One, people think you're this loose maniac, and when you get big hands, you tend to get paid for those big hands. So that style works for me in the low buy-in events, but it's also, I could be the first one in the rebuy line with that style, because that's how I treat. If I'm going to budget bullets, I treat them as though the first bullet, is about trying to get a big stack day 1 and build it quick. And if that doesn't work, and I decide, well, I'm playing good, but I was just playing aggressive, then I'll may fire a second bullet for that same flight, and then I'll play it a little more conservative and more like it's the only bullet I have. So I will play some early bullets, and I'll play them a little more aggressive than normal. But when we get to the main buy-in event, $1,500, it's a little pricier. I'm not going to budget 4 bullets for that. I typically will only budget 2 bullets and really only like to fire 1 bullet. So my style changes a little bit, and that's just how I approach it. It's all about bankroll management, and I typically budget 3-4 bullets for lower buy-in events and 1 or 2 bullets for the larger buy-in. But I prefer freeze outs. We don't do many of those at Best Bet.
To see people's, different people's strategies on that.
Yeah, no, it's everybody's got their different style. I know in South Florida, it's like the rebuys are crazy for some of those big tournaments. You know, they might run $120 buy-in tournament on a Wednesday night with a $20K guarantee, but it's just like it's a shove fest. I don't really like that. I like the style
Right.
and the structures that Best Bet plays.
All right, Jack, I don't know if you see our chat now announcing that the NBA season has been suspended.
Yeah, I saw that come across. I was trying not to get distracted and read more on the story.
I'm very distracted.
Yeah, well,
It's
looks
tough not
like,
to be.
well, is this a crazy run out right here real quick? The Deuce 5 is going to end up winning it, even though when they got the money in, Corey had top two pair on the flop. And Mike flopped the wheel. So it didn't really matter what the turn river was. That was just another crazy cooler. Corey's in all these big hands, and sometimes he's on the winning side, sometimes he's on the losing side, but his stack is like a roller coaster. Yeah, the NBA season being canceled, wow, that's huge. I mean,
that is.
I don't know what the right answer is with this. I get asked a lot of times, you know, some of the other things people were asking about me. I'm part of the Slum Donkey team, or Slum Donkey group, which is just nothing more than a bunch of poker players that really take the game seriously and really try and challenge and make people better. And there's been a lot of talk in our forums about, you know, this coronavirus, and I'm glad that Allie and Jesse addressed it on the radio show today about Best Bet, and, you know, how they're monitoring and ensuring their customers are safe and tracking it. I don't know what it's going to mean for the poker community, but there's certainly a lot of talk out there. Everybody's got a lot of different opinions. It's crazy. I guess it's the right thing to do. I believe it is, but it's the first time something like this has ever happened. I'm not a scientist or specialist, so I'm uncomfortable talking about it like I'm an expert. All I have is my opinion.
Yeah. I just want to clarify that you got Dat Bowler asking if Jesse has spoken on it, and yeah, like Jack said, he touched on it on the radio show earlier. You know, we're monitoring everything, keeping a close eye, being precautious, but everything's firing as normal now, so we'll definitely keep everybody updated, you know, if anything comes up, but for now we're progressing as normal, so don't worry about coming out. You know, it's something that, you know, when the time comes we'll address again, but for now it's everything is normal.
Right. I mean, it is, and everything can change with time, and Best Bet's done, you know, they'll be good about communicating, you know, if anything changes, but business as usual right now. Forget about the NBA. I just found out Tom Hanks has coronavirus.
I just saw that too.
No, the NCAA and having no fans in their tournament, that's going to be different. You know, the crazy thing. Oh, we got a big hand brewing here, and I'll tell you the crazy thing about coronavirus and basketball, at least in my opinion. Looks like Matthew's got ace-king, Mike's got queen-10 suited, a great hand. He opened for 15. Matthew just called, being a little sneaky with ace-king. And 2-3-7 looks like rainbow flop. And
Sean catches a piece.
Yeah, everybody's got a decent amount of equity, but Sean's got the top pair. And looks like he's got to make a $30 call. Dakota's going to call with really not much. Runner straight and flush options. See, cutting out a raise? It's actually a pretty advanced play. I don't mind this raise. I mean, there's a lot of hands that have value but aren't super strong in this spot. And, you know, if you're going to make a 3-bet bluff, you can do it with a hand that if you get shoved on, you can easily fold. And if you get somebody passive behind you that just calls with a big hand, There's a lot of turn cards that could really give Sean a lot of equity here, or excuse me, Dakota a lot of equity. So this is actually a pretty good race, and it worked. That was a good job by Dakota. I like that. You'll see a lot of that in the 2-5 and the 5-10, 25 games we spread. I haven't seen a lot of plays like that in the 2-2 game.
Well, Jack, we took Dakota off the 2-5 table to come over to this game, so maybe that'll make a little more sense for you.
Oh, all right. Well, that does make a little more sense. Okay. So, you know, you hear all the time about a player, an athlete getting sick, but plays through it and has one of the best record games of his life. You know, his all-time best was when they were with flu. And that's different than what this is. This is such a, you know, the way the world, honestly, not the U.S., but the world is treating this is if you get it, you go into isolation. You isolate yourself from everybody. Quarantine is just staying away as a precaution just in case you've been exposed. But if you actually have it, they put you in isolation. And this is so contagious. One NCAA team in the top 25 is in the tournament of their life, the NCAA tournament. One player gets sick, they probably all have it. And can they even play, or are they disqualified? Nobody say anything about it, but I think that scenario is going to come up.
And it's such a shame for the Cinderellas, you know, the crowd probably being such a big factor for some of those teams, some of the smaller teams. You know, being a Florida State fan, this was a big year for us, and it seems like a big hit not having a crowd there behind a Cinderella story. Seems to bode well for the bigger teams.
Absolutely. Well, hey, if I win the WSOP this year, it's because a bunch of players stay home.
That's right. Take it, I can get it.
I'm good with that strip. You give me that script, I'm happy with it. Looks like Jillian's still now on the top of the leaderboard. Dakota's dropped a little bit. Corey's dropped again. And Sean and Christian are at the bottom.
Yeah, Corey's all over that board.
Yeah, he's got one speed, and it's full speed, whether he's got the hand to justify it or not. But he's woke up with some pretty big heads, so it's worked out to keep him somewhat even. But
hey, we like it for the stream, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Looks like he's in there with pair of fours. Corey is again. Queen 9 for Jillian. Christian with pocket deuces. Wow, this is again a bunch of low cards and a low flop. Here we go. Corey just flops it again. Pocket fours. He flops fours full of sixes. 6-6-4 flop. Now a 5 gets there to help the straight that's there. The 3, 4, 5, 6. The 4, 5, 6, 7 is open-ended. The 2's got a straight draw, although he's probably not feeling too good with the action on this board. This is just, they're all playing small cards, and we give small card action flop. This game is just full speed. All right, so Corey's going to raise it up to 70 after Dakota led out. Dakota just basically calls the 50 with the open-ended low-end straight, and Mike's doing the same, but he's at least on the higher end open-ended straight. But they're all crushed because Corey flopped the full house, so they're pretty much drawing very thin here. And that River Queen of Hearts helps nobody. The straights don't get there, so I don't think Dakota and Mike are going to lose much more unless they try and steal it by betting out here. They both go check, so Corey's going to do his best acting job. This is what Corey looks like when he has a monster. So a lot of players talking and joking and having fun that aren't in the hand, and this is a spot where I'm studying Corey intently because I want to see what he looks like when he has a real hand. And nobody called. Like I said, that river was pretty uneventful. Nobody got there, so Corey's going to take down the pot. A nice profit, pot 370, profit 150. Good little hand for Corey. So the roller coaster continues. So what do you think about the NBA canceling? That's a pretty big move. I mean, that's lots of money we're talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising from a monetary value from the association to do that, but it's been happening across the world, like you said. In Italy, they've canceled soccer games for months, and in Spain they've canceled soccer games, and all these places, all the other teams are playing behind closed doors. But it's to an extent, what will that prevent? I watched a video today where they weren't allowing the fans into a soccer game, and the fans are all just partying in the parking lot right outside the stadium. So what's the real
great.
difference?
Yeah.
So,
I totally agree. I think that there's the majority of people are not going to have a major health crisis if they get coronavirus, but the reason I think governments are doing this. Go ahead.
I was going to say, heard Charles Barkley the other day. He said the same thing. He said, if they cancel, these tournaments, it's not like the people that were going to go are just going to go sit at home. They're going to go out in public and be somewhere else. The grocery store, the gas station. It's hard to pick and choose where you can let people go at this point. So it's a tough decision. I think I don't know how you can make it, especially with all that money on the line.
Yeah, I mean, at least what the NCAA did, they, okay, we're not going to bring fans in, which is the real risk, not to the players, but to themselves. But they were going to still play the tournament.
I think they probably are trying to I don't know if they want to avoid lawsuits if someone, maybe contracted this virus, at one of their events, if they'd be liable. I don't know, the logistics behind that, but.
Well, it's all it's uncharted territory. I mean, we've never had a pandemic, at least in our, recent future. So, who knows what the legal grounds are? Somebody will try it in our court system. I'm not sure how it'll all get ruled, but, like I said, where I was going with that is most of us could get sick and not have any major health issues from coronavirus. But what this is all about is making sure we don't keep spreading it where the more at risk, older and folks with other health issues. It is a serious disease. So they're banning it to prevent spreading to people that won't be as immune to it as some of the younger, more healthy folks. But I understand that the U.S. is banning all air travel to Europe right now, back and forth. So that's a pretty big move.
I think within the next few days, there are going to be some big announcements about, stuff being canceled. NFL draft, all those big events coming up.
Yeah, I was supposed to be at a conference in Atlanta this week, and that got canceled. So who knows? Looks like Mike 3-bet with Ace Jack and Dakota. No fear of a flop. Calls 10-8 and gets a flop. It's not very good for him. Looks like Mike's got a lock on this. He's going to make a standard C-bet, and Dakota's going to get away from it. So these players got a little gamble in them. They're betting way bigger than normal bet sizing for, just looking at big blind structures, a 2.5 or 3 big blind raise. These pods are building faster than they typically would. I don't know if that's a stream effect or just these players and the combination of them all together, but they're not flinching at calling these big pre-flop bets with really less than premium hands just for a low gamble. It's a fun game to watch.
Yeah, these 2-2 deep games typically seem to be our most enjoyable games to watch on the streams. They're the loosest and seem like they have the most fun on the 2-2 deep games. So we like running those.
Yeah, I played a lot of the early stream games, the 5-10, 25, and the 2-5 streams, and I'm just too serious a player. I'm not a good stream audience player. Yeah. I'm just going to sit there and be quiet and listen and watch. So, but tournament streams are a lot different. I like making those streams.
Yeah, the tournament streams are a different monster, that's for sure. They're a whole different aspect. We are running a 5-10, 25 this weekend, I believe.
Yep. No, it's every Friday or Saturday night. Not every Friday or Saturday, but either Friday or Saturday typically. Looks like Julian 3-bet here with Ace-10 suited of diamonds to $40. Sean's going to make the call with King-Queen. Mike, why not make the call with 4-2? And just not to be outdone, looks like Corey's going to call with 5-7. He's set suited with clubs. Don't mind that call at all. And looks like we got 8, 9, and 3 rainbow flop. So the ace-10 is technically still in the lead with ace-high. Looks like Corey's got a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw, so he's got some equity. And I guess, Sean's got a decent amount of equity with just, 2 overs that are still live, a king or a queen. And the deuce-4, I don't know why he's even in there, but he went ahead and got out of the way.
Did he call for 25 with that?
Yes, he did. That's what my comment. They're happy to see flops here.
That's right.
All right, king of diamonds. So this brings a potential diamond draw, but also a king. And Julian's sitting there with the nut flush draw, but is also in the lead with just ace high. There's not a lot of equity here for Corey to make the call. Could be a spot where Corey's thinking about bluffing here, and I don't think it's going to work given that Julian just happens to have the ace-10 of diamonds. But if he had ace-10 of clubs, I think a raise by Corey would definitely work. But he's going to give it up and let Julian take the pot down.
All right, Jack, we're about, I think, on our 40th hand now tonight. 2-2 no limit hold'em deep here at Best Bet Jacksonville. Glad to be joined by Jack Sumner, Jordan Spina on the stream. About halfway through our stream. It's been a pretty good game so far, huh, Jack?
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm enjoying this. Appreciate you guys having me, Jordan. It's been a lot of fun. Trying to get the Twitch viewers. Come on now. I'm talking to all you guys out there in Twitch, which is where I typically hang out and watch the streams. When are we going to have a Twitch viewer cash game? It can be 2-2, it can be 2-5, it can be something different. How many Twitch viewers are in for a Twitch viewer cash game one day here in the future?
I like that idea. Now, me and Jesse were discussing earlier, we're noticing YouTube has slowly become our #1 viewer source.
Yeah, I'm bucking that trend. I can't. I know it. It's taken over. Even a lot of Twitch streamers are switching to YouTube. I think it's a better interface. Twitch is where all this, live streaming of, online poker and poker began. So, sort of where I always go to is my default. But I need to start giving YouTube a chance.
Yeah, YouTube has come on really strong lately. I mean, we weren't even using it as a platform until recently, and it's already become our most popular one, so it's pretty cool.
I'll have to give it a shot.
Some of the Twitch chat is down with your idea.
All right. I like it. As long as that bowler is there.
Call it out.
I don't want any of Raminator. I see him in the chat. I don't want any of him. Rami Singh is the Raminator. He's one of Florida's most successful tournament players. And,
exposed in the Twitch chat.
Yep. He won one of the Best Bet Summer Series tournaments. He went super deep. I think final 2 tables of the Best Bet Summer Series main event. Won 2 tournaments in South Florida already this year. He's a beast.
Impressive.
All right, we got some big hands here. Again, Corey right there with the best of it, and Mike right behind him with ace-jack suited, raises, or right in front of him, raises to 20, and Corey 3-bets to 65. If I'm on this table, I'm getting tired of Corey c-betting me. But that's it's advantage of playing, 60% of the hands, I think is what we saw last VPIP, a high percentage anyway. Looks like Mike's just going to make the call with ace-jack suited.
It's hard not to get it in when you keep picking up hands like that, huh, Jack?
Yeah, the problem is he's getting it in when he's not picking up hands either.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, this is an interesting flop. Nobody hits anything. We got 3 spades out there, and looks like Corey's the only one with a spade. Now they both,
hits a jack here.
Yeah, Mike's hitting the jack on the turn. He's going to bet 100. Corey's got a gut shot and 1 live over. I don't know what he's going to do here. Well, and it's Corey. He's going to do something, I'm sure, other than fold. Oh, yep, he went all the way. He went on, jams it all in. Well, Mike's in a tough spot here because this jam says I'm sitting on a hand with at least a king. But most likely, it could even be better than a king. Could be saying I have a made flush already. He's doing this also because he's got the redraw queen of spades. So this is technically what they'd call a semi-bluff, not a bluff. He's saying, I'm gonna get you off the hand, but if you do call, I still got out.
Right. Yeah, Diver in the Twitch chat. Thanks for reminding me. We're gonna be giving away a $50 tournament voucher. Yeah, I don't want to wait too late, so how about we shoot for 11 p.m. So everybody head on over to the Twitch chat, get ready about 11 o'clock, and we'll run the giveaway for that tournament voucher.
I see somebody in the chat talking about Jonathan Little. I think he actually did some commentating for Best Bet not too long ago. I want to say 2.5 weeks ago.
Jonathan Little. I'm trying to think.
Maybe I'm confused, but I want to say that he did.
Not ringing a bell. We had Eddie
False Man still in. Yeah, Eddie's a regular. I'm a semi-regular. We got Kelly Slay, who's sort of a semi-regular, and then obviously you and Dustin.
And we had Bert Hansen. That's right.
Oh, maybe it was Bert Hansen I was thinking of. Yeah, maybe it was. Jonathan Little was on the radio show. That's what it was.
Right.
All right, my bad. So Sean's got a big hand here, and he's got Corey dominated, but Corey's got some outs now with another 10. Doesn't really have any straight draws, so. Couldn't tell what the turn action was. Looks like it was a pretty decent bet, but I missed it. And the river, Sean basically makes a full house, 3s full of jacks.
They both
and got paid off with 3s full of 10s. So it was a full house over a full house. So great river for that third 3 to come on the river.
I think he got checked on the river, though. What do you think about that?
It went so fast I couldn't tell. If it was checked on the river, I don't think good things about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to bet your own hand.
Diver says, is Eddie in England? I'm not sure, but that might not be good for him right now.
Yeah, he might be stuck. As long as we got internet, we can get him to commentate.
That's right. If Eddie's over there in England, stay safe over there, brother.
All right, so Corey's raising it up again. This time he's got a pretty big hand, 5-6 offsuit. Joking, of course. And we got three other callers, and of course Corey's going to flop top pair and an open-ended straight draw, and he's crushed to the made straight flopped by Justin. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Justin's in there with a 6 deuce of diamonds. So this is going to be a big hand, most likely, between Corey and Dustin. Corey's going to feel pretty confident with top pair, and he's got the straight redraw. They're both pretty deep stacked. Justin's got almost $500, and Corey's a little over $700, so I could see this pot getting kind of big. Meanwhile, Julian's going to get out of the way with Queen High. He had a gut shot to a 7 high straight, but he's not gonna play. Justin improves to 6 card straight, which doesn't really matter. He's still got the same 6 high straight with the 2-6, but ace on the turn. That's gonna. It's not going to slow Justin down. He's been 150. So Corey's got a big test here. He's basically bet, full pot size bet into Corey here, $150. All Corey's really got is a pair of 5s and an open-ended, but that ace, Justin could easily have, an ace 4, ace 3, something like that, and that ace is going to scare Corey and get him to fold. That might have been a spot. You get a feel for the players and all the dynamics at the table. That might have been a spot where I would have given Corey a low rope and check there. I don't know that I would have bet a full pot-size bet into. I'd give him a chance to bluff at it. He's shown really very few opportunities to take breaks, to apply the breaks when he needed to. But in that case, he forced Corey out of the hand where Corey might have bet if he had checked to him. Hindsight being 20/20, of course, and we can see the cards, but he flopped a straight and was pretty strong there. Rominator reports there's been no impact to poker action in South Florida, and that some of the big tournaments down there with the big guarantees, they're blowing the guarantees away. So that's a good sign for at least poker in Florida. Looks like Sean's got queens here and facing a bet of 20. He's going to 3-bet to 150. Wow, that's a pretty big 3-bet. Typical 3-bet here is going to be closer to 55 to 65, somewhere typically $60 is going to be a normal 3-bet range. So he's saying, get the heck out of my pot. I want this one. And he's going to make $44, but he missed an opportunity where he had an edge to make more. If you want to see the flop, you're always gambling that you're going to lose some equity, but you got to take advantage of your big hands, and shoving people out pre-flop with your big hands is not the best way to make the most money of those big hands. Sometimes an ace or a king's going to flop and you're going to have to fold your queens, but a lot of times you're going to make a lot more money if you keep the pots reasonable, don't force people out, give people opportunities to make mistakes when you have queens, as opposed to help them make the right decision by betting too much. All right, looks like Matthew's got a hand here. I call this the World Series hand, the worst hand in poker, pocket tens.
Seen that a few times tonight too.
Yeah, no. This hand, if you get this hand in the World Series, just run. I think me or friends of mine have been beat with tens every which way possible, including quads over quads. So tens in the World Series, just a bad vibe for me. But I digress. Looks like wherever we're going to see we saw a 4-way flop, and everybody checked around because it was 2 queens and an 8. Nobody's got a queen. Everybody's being cautious. 9 on the turn is going to give, some opportunities to hands like the 10s are blocking the straights. The 7s start to feel like, well, if nobody's got an 8 or 9, I'm good. A 9 comes on the river after a small bet and 2 calls, and looks like it's going to check around. 10s are going to turn it over and win it. So that one played pretty normal, I would say. Not outrageous bets, and some ambitious calls by King Jack with really just opportunity for a gut shot 10.
Couple gut shots. 7s ends up with 7 high there on the river. That's a tough spot.
Yeah, definitely got counterfeited. So it went check on the river. But while we had 3 people to the river on that board, it's different.
Old Gamer Geek Dad in Twitch. No, you haven't missed it. In about 15 minutes, we will be giving away that $50 tournament voucher on Twitch. So stay posted.
All right, Trey's going to start the action on this hand. Doyle Brunson, 10 deuce into the muck, 8 threes into the muck, 9 threes into the muck, Jack deuce into the muck, see, what's Mike going to do with 4-5 suited and clubs? He's going to throw it into the muck and just let Corey win the big blind, small blind and the big blind, or did they chop? I couldn't tell if they chopped. But basically, folded around, no action. We'll see the next hand.
On to the next one. About 50 hands in now, Jack. Running pretty quickly. 50 hands. Seems to have moved pretty fast in about 2 hours. Especially for a live stream pace.
Minimum free bet's like 35. It's on bet.
All right. So action here in the hijack with Sean, ace, queen of diamonds. Boy, we've seen a lot of suited aces with diamonds tonight. It's just running the way it's running. So Sean's raised to 15, got 2 callers, 4-2 of clubs, and 10 jack all suited. The flop comes jack 6-9 with 2 clubs. So we got Corey with a flush draw and Mike with top pair. Mike's on the button, so he's going to just smooth call Corey's bet and evaluate. Sean is still in with ace queen as well.
Good.
Yeah, ace of clubs comes, so that's going to give Sean top pair, Mike 1 pair, the top pair with the jacks on the flop, but Corey turned the flush. It's a small flush. He's facing a $35 call. And, you know, this is an example of small flush. You probably want to get your equity right now, or at least charge people to draw against you. And Corey makes the right move. He bumps it up to 125, which is a healthy raise, but, you know, if anybody's got anything here, he's going to get paid. That was a really good laydown by Sean. He just didn't really think too much about it with top pair. And Mike got rid of his jack. There's a lot of hands that just beat a pair of jacks on that spot, but he had one of the stronger hands.
Corey picks up another one here.
Hey, Jordan, can you take over for a couple minutes?
Of course.
I'll be right back.
Sure. GT Jack taking a little breather from the commentary. I'd like to thank everybody again for tuning in to our Best Bet Live Wednesday night cash game. 2-2, no limit hold'em deep. Jordan Spina in the booth. Jack Subner joining me. Like I said, everybody else will be running that Twitch $50 tournament voucher giveaway about 15 minutes. I will give you all a keyword that you will type into the Twitch chat, and Twitch will randomly select from the group of people who entered the keyword, and we will have our winner. So I will let you know the keyword as soon as we get close to that time.
The 2 hour was really impressed with those games, because it's like, if he doesn't think it's a turn, like, you're just getting all his chips.
All right, I'm back.
Sean Reyes. 15, you back, Jack?
Yeah, I'm back. Just need a quick second.
Similar looking flop here. We see queens again, pair on the flop. Couple of ace highs. Dakota takes a stab here.
Had to go get me a drink. The best bet waitresses haven't made it this far south.
Oh. Need to comp you one.
Boss man, what can you do?
Yeah, where you at, Jesse?
Last time I was there commentating in the booth, Jesse bought me a hot dog. I felt like that was a win.
Wow. Generous.
All right. All right, here we go. Looks like saw an ace-7. Did it fold, or how did those graphics work?
I think he must have folded.
Huh, okay. Dakota's going to wake up with pocket fours. He hasn't been in a big hand anytime soon, so he's going to get back engaged. Mike's going to come along with 8-4 suited. So he's got one of Dakota's 4s for a set. So he's set mining pretty thin. Looks like Corey's going to come along with King 9 of diamonds, and Julian's got Ace 10 off suit, and got most of the equity going into this pre-flop. Corey's got a lot of equity too. Now to look at it with the 2 live cards and suited. All right, Ace 3 King, and it looked like 2 hearts. So Julian's going to flop top pair with a 10 kicker, and really no one other than Corey really got anything. Corey's got a pair of kings, so Julian bets out 25. Dakota calls with his pair of 4s. He's just not believing. He's going to try and hit a 4 on the turn. Doesn't come. So there's a Queen of Spades on the turn. Julian's still good. He's going to bet out, real small in relation to the pot, about a third pot, and he's going to get another call by Corey. Corey's looking him up. It's good little small bets, trying to get money from the king. Can't see what the river is, but it looked like the action went check, check.
No.
Oh no, the 4. The case 4 came out on the river, but
I saw Dakota throw his hands up before they showed the 4, so I knew it had to have gotten there.
Oh, I hate when a player shows that they throw away the pot like that, because it helps the other players. But he was like in there. He called the flop, hoping to hit it on the turn. Folded the turn, saying I'm not going to hit it on the river, and then the case 4 comes out on the river. Cruel game we love. Jordan, how long you been with Best Bet? I don't even know the answer to that.
3 or 4 years, I'd say, about now.
All right.
Was strip running for a while. Been dealing for the past 2.
Great.
Yeah, it's a great company to work for.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we got a couple aces in here. We got some random kings and queens. King 5, king, queen, queen 8. A lot of random king, queen hands out. But looks like the ace 9, ace 6, and king, queen are going to go to the flop. Dakota raised with the king, queen. Corey and Matthew came along with weak aces, middle of the road aces. And the flop's ace 5, 10. So those middle of the road aces are going to take the lead. No real flush draws or straight draws out there. I guess king queen's got a gut shot on the straight draw. I'll take that back, but no obvious draws. 9 of clubs. That's going to help Corey out even more with his ace. He just turned 2 pair, and ace 9, 2 pair aces and 9s. He's feeling pretty good here. He just runs good.
He has been. I'll tell you what.
Like he'd be up over almost $1,500 if he just let off on the brakes on some of the times he doesn't run good.
Yeah, we saw that last stream. I don't know if you watched our last stream, but we finished with only one winner who was, he was like up 3,000, and everybody else was stuck. It was pretty weird.
I've been in a couple of those games. I know exactly what we're talking about. Some people just choose the right seat.
That's right.
Yeah, looks like it went check. Is it going? No, it's not going check. Looks like Corey definitely made the bet, and looks like it was an insta call. And Matthew sees the bad news. Corey turned 2 pair. Corey was in the lead with the 9 kicker, but they were headed towards a chop more than a good percentage of the time.
Right. Oh, your buddy remembers that game you were just talking about. Vegas 1-2 game.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got this hand. Not a lot of hands, a lot of mucking going around, getting around towards late in position where you can play some of these less than premium hands. Looks like Dakota's going to get in there with 5-6 offsuit, Justin with queen 9. got a decision. He's just going to check his. The blinds are just going to complete and check, and we got four-way action with no real premium hands. The flop 7-3-5. Looks like Julian was 7-8. Has got a good part of this equity. Dakota's got some good equity too. He's got a pair of fives, and he's got a gut shot straight draw. He's got 5-6. So a 4 on this board will give Dakota a straight. A 6 on this board would not be good. Well, I guess it'd be okay. It'd give Julian some straight outs to redraw. Turns ace of clubs. Doesn't really change much. Just gives Julian a better luck on the hand with a pair of sevens. And looks like Dakota's leading out with the 5-6. So that 5-6 is... He's got a gut shot straight draw. We'll see. Christian's thinking about it with Jack-3. I guess that's just a pair of threes, but he reluctantly folds. Smart play. And Christian's gonna. Oh, he called. It was. Oh my goodness. See, I'm looking at the players trying to go off their faces instead of the graphics, which keeps messing this up.
It'll throw you
Yeah.
off.
I just need to start looking at the faces instead of just the random graphics. But yeah, that's a pretty loose call with a Jack-3, just a pair of threes.
Just went check on the river there. 5s takes it down.
Yeah. Oh, and Christian calls there. Yeah, he's got to be worried about. Dakota's worried. Does somebody have a better hand than me? So check on the river makes sense. Oh, I see what you're talking about in the Twitch chat. Yeah, Raminator's a good friend, obviously. We were in Vegas one year playing a 1-2 game. And it was kind of funny. Rami was just running the table. I was, of course, I wasn't playing any logical poker. I was just trying to beat Rami. My wife is in the game drawing second nuts, and Rami always had first nuts. It was just a crazy game. It was a 1-2 game, and he was literally with stacks of $100 chips, and everybody else had little $1 blue chips, and he just every hand all in, and he could not lose that day. Trace woke up here in the hijack with pocket aces. Not a bad starting hand in poker. I've read that's one of the better hands.
It's decent, I've heard.
Yeah. So being late in
Tens
position
again.
with aces, and Dakota wakes up with tens, and the way Dakota's been playing, he's pretty aggressive with his premium hands, and pocket tens qualifies. So he's 3-bet to 45. So what's Trey going to do here? Looking at the chips. Well, looking at the chip stacks, they're both over $500. So you got to do a little bit of math. If you're sitting here with aces, you're asking yourself, what's the best strategy to get, to play for stacks, to get it all in? And so you think about the pot size on the flop. If he just calls here, the pot size on the flop's just over $100. You could still flop, turn, river, get it all in, but I might want to 4-bet here just to make sure we get a bigger pot. Yeah, he does, and I don't want to 4-bet too much here. I'm not trying to blow tens from folding, so I wouldn't go all in, and he did, and he made a nice sized pot. Got Dakota hooked on this, and this is the absolute worst flop for him. Comes 9 high, 9-5-3. They both have overcards or overpairs, so there's enough money in the pot now. They can just get it all in right here. Just be done with it, and looks like that's what's going to happen.
See, Dakota snap called that 200 pre-flop. He's definitely not folding here.
Yeah, no, not with the stack size, not with these players, not with the way the action's gone all night. This is somewhat of a core, but, I don't want to say there wasn't a way for Dakota to get away from this hand, but, I've already told you how much I hate pocket tens.
Yeah, you have. And we've seen him, oh my goodness, he almost got there with a straight.
Yeah, he almost did.
See, aces gets through.
Nice hand.
Now you you play a lot more than I do, Jack. But I seem to witness aces get cracked quite a bit more than I see them get through. I feel like while dealing, it's a tough hand to play.
Well, here's the trick. Aces in a cash game, not the greatest hand. In a high-stakes game, in a tournament where, you know, the blinds are ever increasing and you feel that pressure, you can double up deep in a tournament with pocket aces very easily. You know, and, you know, most times in tournament scenarios where you're all in pre-flop, you're always an 80% favorite. You're going to win 4 out of 5 times. But in a cash game, you know, a 2-2 game, you can't raise it to $100, you know, to limit the field. So you raise to 15 and you get 5 callers, you know, and the flop comes 6-3, 6-3-9. Somebody's got a set of 9s, somebody's got a set of 3s. You're getting this heavy action. You're all in on the flop with just an overcards. A lot of people can't fold aces in a cash game like that. And quite honestly, you know, at a 2-2 level, that may be fine. That's where you learn some of the subtleties of poker. But I've always believed that you make poker, you make a profit in poker by laying down the big hands that nobody else. The hands, actually, I'll steal Vince Van Patten's. He was the guest on the radio show today, and he made a comment about, you know, laying down the hands that hurt. Nobody knows what you have, but you know how much it hurts. That's what really separates, I think, the pros from the amateurs. And I'm still not very good at it, but I'm getting better. I guess the moral of the story is when you got aces in a cash game like this, you know, the stack sizes can be pretty deep in relation to the blinds, and people are seeing a lot of flops that can crack aces. So it's not my favorite hand in a cash game unless it's all in pre or you can raise big enough to define somebody's range a little bit better.
All right, Jack, we're gonna it's 11 o'clock here. We're gonna run this giveaway for everybody in the Twitch chat. The keyword will be WPT, all capitals, okay? Just like that. So everybody type that in the chat. We'll give you all a few minutes before we roll it. Rami, make sure you put that exclamation point in front of the WPT. There you go. Like I said, we'll give that a few minutes. Already got about 10 in there, so if you're listening, get in there. Free chance to win a $50 tournament voucher. All caps payday. You're in there already.
All right, I'm in. I had to quit talking for a second to make sure I could get in.
Oh, you're in.
I'm not affiliated with Best Bet. I'm still eligible. I'm just a guest commentator.
I don't see you in, though, Jack.
Really?
Yeah. Did you type it in the Twitch?
I did, and then I closed it, so I didn't hear the echo. But maybe if I got out, it killed it.
Yeah, it's not showing you in.
All right, I'm in.
There you go. Now, if you win, we're gonna have some questions to answer.
It's all right. I can deal with any questions. I should be in now.
About a minute or two. You're getting put on the spot now, Jack.
All right. Well, 9-3-7 flop here. Matthews pretty much locked this one up. He's got ace-4 spades, and the flop was 9-3-7, all spades. He's got most of the equity. See, Justin's got the queen of spades, so that might actually work. Get a call or two.
The king of spades.
Oh, there you go. So they might get a little action here.
Yeah, Matthew's praying a spade hits here on the river. No spade. He's probably not going to get much out of. Not going
Nope,
to get much out of
it all
Justin. Here.
missed.
Yep. All right, guys, we're rolling the giveaway. Oh, Jack, you didn't win. Congratulations. Oh, man, how do you say that? Navgo, y'all. I know that wasn't right.
Nav Goal sounds, if Goal's the last name, that sounds Indian.
Well, either way, Nav Goal, congratulations. I will be DMing you on Twitch in just a minute. Get your information so we can get that voucher, shipped over to you.
I tell you what, Payday, I see you in the chat throwing shade. Everybody says it's rigged when I win. It's not rigged, but I do win my fair share. All right, Julian's flop top pair here. He's got king queen on a 10-7 queen flop. Looking, there's not much anybody else really has here, so this bet of $10 on the flop's probably going to take it down, and it does. All right, getting ready for the next hand here. Maybe we could pull up the stats. I'm curious where we are with VPIP and some of the other stats after this hand.
Yeah, I'll get that for you up after this hand. Hey, we got the Nav Goyal. He confirms. It's good work, Jack.
All right. All right, Pocket Deuces have made another appearance, this time with Julian. He's called the $2. Trey's got ace-8 suited and spades. He's called a lot of limpers in this one. We got 7 players limping right now, and this is just going to be hold'em roulette here on the flop. Let's see who wins. Jack 9-6, Rainbow, and it looks like Jack 7. Justin's going to take the lead. Dakota's got a Jack as well. 7 kicker, 5 kicker. This will most likely be a chop pot unless somebody else takes a lead, like maybe Julian with a 2 on the turn or something. Trey's doesn't really. He's got a backdoor spade draw, so he's just going to get out with the ace-8 of spades. Julian's got a question with deuces, so he's thinking about it. His body posture says no. And looks like it's just going to be the 2 jacks heads up, so 67-33. I'm surprised they don't have a chop factored in. What am I missing? Okay, the 7. Yeah, all right. Well, they could have chopped, but the 4 on the river basically gives the 7 kickers going to play, and Justin's going to take down a small pot, profit of about $70. Pull those stats up real quick.
Sure. Sorry, I was sending our winner a message.
I forgot about it till just now.
Yeah, me too. There we go.
All right, there we go. Corey's roller coastered back up to the lead. They're just moving chips around. Trey's for the first time up on the leaderboard. He's been playing pretty good, tight, but aggressive when he has it. And Christian, Mike's dropped down.
Yeah, I think Trey scooted up there when he had the hand of the aces.
Yep. Sure did, the aces versus 10s. Justin's raised here with king, queen, spades, and clubs. Dakota's going to go ahead and think about calling here. Did with 7-9 and also 6-9. The flop comes 10, jack, queen, 2 hearts. So Justin's got the best hand with top pair and top kicker, and that kicker's also an open-ended straight. Another queen on the turn. Dakota and Mike are both in with an open-ended straight as well, but it's to the sucker side for the straight that Justin has. So they're in bad shape here. There's not a lot of cards that are really going to help them out. 7 comes, which Dakota makes a pair, but it's not going to really help them out. The 3 queens are still way in the lead. Just too much for them to catch up. And I don't understand the check there.
You think the heart slowed him down there?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Looking at the 7 of hearts, that slowed him down. I'm okay with the check there, especially with 2 players. You got to think somebody's playing the hearts.
Right, especially when they came on the flop. So I guess you just cut your losses there and just take a freebie.
Yeah, makes sense.
Second call for CG, Ray, Jay, and Chip for 2-2, no Ola.
All right, Dakota's got definitely a premium hand for him with King Queen. He's going to open the $20. Julian's got a nice hand here, Queen Jack suited. He's in the big blind. If he was in the button here, I certainly wouldn't mind him raising, but being in the blinds and first stack flop, post flop, I think, a call here is perfectly fine. And big blind plays a little tight, gets rid of the ace-4. Flop comes 9-3-5, and nobody hits anything. Dakota with the pre-flop action, if he throws out a continuation bet and keeps up with the aggression, probably take it down. They both check. So now Dakota's done a delay c-bet. They check on a 9 turn. So the board's paired 5, 3, 9 on the flop, 9 on the turn. Dakota makes a bet, and Julian doesn't believe him now. So the c-bet did not work on the delayed c-bet, betting out on the turn. Looks like 5 of spades. So again, Dakota's got the best hand, but Julian decides he's going to try and take it away from here, and it'll probably work the way he called the turn bet. So well played by Julian. I don't know if he came up with that plan ad hoc or if he knew that's what he's going to do when he called the turn, but well played. Yeah, you see that a lot in poker, Jordan. There's a lot of common swings or plays or however you want to think about it where, somebody in position bets, somebody out of position calls. The flop comes, the person out of position checks, the person in position bets. When the person out of position calls that flop bet, and then it goes check on the turn, you see a lot of those, or you see a lot of bet outs there on the river, and it works a high percentage of the time.
Yeah, that does seem like a pretty standard chain of events.
Yeah, I played in a tournament recently where it went that exact same scenario. I was the person out of position. I decided, okay, you showed your weakness. I'm going to take it away on the river. Made the bet, and they shipped all in on me. And I still to this day don't know if it was a river miracle card they had a set on, or if they were trapping me the whole time, knowing I was going to make that play. But you get to higher level thinking in poker. All these standard plays cannot always be standard. 2 10s and a deuce on the flop. Nobody's really got anything. Trey's got a mystery hand, and he's just going to pick it up. The way he's been playing, I'd be willing to bet he had at least a pocket pair there. All right, so let's get a final count from the Twitch viewers. Who wants to show up for a 2-5 cash game on Twitch? Or would you prefer a 2-2 cash game on Twitch if we got Twitch viewer night?
I thought I saw more action for a 2-5, which is actually surprising, but...
Now, a lot of our Twitch regulars actually are out of town. They may not be easy for them to all coordinate to come in on a weeknight.
Well, we'll have to get something like that coordinated soon. That'd be a fun little event.
All right. Well, King 8, Queen 8, and just a standard. Not going to really. Just going to chop it up, move on. Robinator, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think if anything, we probably persuaded them more to come in with our coronavirus talk.
No doubt. All right, next hand. Looks like Julian's got Jack 9 of diamonds, another favorite suited connector of many poker players. Sean's got pocket sixes, 13 to call. Looks like he's making the call. Looks like Dakota's in with ace clubs, 6 of spades, and Mike's just going to come in with his big blind, just going to go ahead and complete. He's got 7-4, needs one of those miracle flops. Pretty nice flop. Any other given day, ace king of diamonds with the 2 of clubs. Julian certainly is liking this flop.
He gets that too on the turn.
Yeah, checked around. I would have liked to see him bet out and get some value, start building the pot in anticipation, betting on the come that he's going to hit his flush. That way, bigger pot, more money to be made. And if you take the lead,
would have bet on the flop there with those 2 diamonds and the ace.
Yeah, take the lead there, and then, even if your diamonds don't come, you still have the lead, so your bluff story is a lot better. You can represent a lot of hands if the diamonds don't come. And if you do hit your diamonds, then you build a bigger pot, and you're making more when you hit it. And Dakota's just gone all in. He's sort of, flop top pair, but the diamonds just have him crushed. And looks like Dakota is. Looks like he might be done for the day.
Yeah, I think we're. I looked at the live table a few minutes ago, and we had a few empty seats, so there might be some pretty big action in these next few hands.
Yeah,
we're going to run the stream for about another hour here, Jack, so see if we can have a strong finish.
Sounds like a plan. I'll be here until I fall asleep.
When I hear you start snoring, I'll cut you off.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. All right, well, nobody on Twitch wants to play live on the stream, so let's throw it out to Facebook or YouTube.
Maybe they're sleeping. Surprised no one's jumping on that.
Yeah. All right, well, we got Matthew here. Matthew's been one of the tighter players at the table. He's got pocket 8, he's in seat 1. I haven't really seen him raise or get in a hand that wasn't reasonable to be in the scenarios. But he is pretty tight, and he's kind of passive because he's not going to open up and raise with pocket 8s. He just limped. Corey came behind. 2 other limpers and raised, or Mike actually raised it to 8 with ace-jack to 20. Corey has got to call the 18, and then Matthew called the 18, and they're going to see the flop. Ace-5-4. Mike's going to continue with his top pair now, and I think everybody else is going to fold. Looks like they're calling some more players.
Yeah, we should get a few of these seats filled at least. With these lists, people they sign up real early, so come game day, a lot of them don't show. So we might have a 20-person list or so, and only 15 of them, 12 of them, in-house. So.
No worries. So Christian.
These chips are all sticky and shit. I don't even know how to operate these things.
Sean's got the King 10. I thought I saw it pop up for Christian for a second. And he's thinking about calling the 15. Oh, I see what happened. Mike 3-bet to 57 with a mystery hand. Mystery hand just showed up. Ace Queen off suit.
I don't know about an even trade.
57.
All right, so Sean's thinking about it. Yeah, he's trying to decide. It looks like he's the minimum going to call. Is he trying to think about a raise, or is he really just struggling with the call here?
I think a call would be pretty standard here. I'm wondering if he's thinking about raising.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I confession time. I'm colorblind, so I couldn't tell what color the chips were. The way he was thinking about it, it was almost like he was thinking about raising. Call would have been standard, but it was a good lay down. Mike has been playing pretty snug as well, so he gave him that respect. That sort of table image is what they call it. His image is one of being kind of tight.
Yeah, your buddy Rami's on here reading faces. He said he saw that coming.
Yeah, well, that's Rami's skill set. The only place I can really beat Rami is in online poker because he can't see my face. All right. Going around, it seems like the tables sort of calmed down a little bit from the first hour. As we finish up this next hour, it seems like some of that energy from the first hour has subsided a little bit, and people are actually folding pre-flop with bad hands.
Yeah, that's different, huh?
It's new. Plus, we're down a couple players. I think there's one on break, and the new players just getting seated. Or I know they've called him. He'll be getting seated. Julian, Corey, Trey at the top, and everybody else is pretty much even or down.
About what we expected.
Sean. Yeah, we had one person leave the game, so they pots the players starting to separate themselves. Matthew's got a 7. Trey is 4-5, 10-5, and Jack 4, and looks like we're seeing a flop. Everybody just limped in with the $4 straddle on calls, and the flop comes 8-8-9. They check around, and Ace of Hearts on the river is going to give Matthew top pair and pretty much lock up the hand. Nobody's even got any draw or out, so this is Matthew's to lose. He makes a small little bet, or actually Mike makes a bet of $11, and Matthew just smooth calls. And another ace tells Matthew that the only hand that's going to beat him is quads, so they decide to go check. I think Matthew was out of position. He was going to try and check call, but I mean, even if Mike had trip 8s on the flop, that second ace on the river, 8s are never going to bet there, so
yeah,
that was an opportunity for him to lead out. Yeah, it's little spots like that that's where you make your profit in poker. The coolers and the variants, it's going to go both ways. It's going to, it's the edges that when you do have the best hand, or when you do fold, make the right fold. Those are the edges that really help you, separate and become a winning player. And that was an opportunity with 8s full, with that ace on the river, to bet out. Not big, just small, to get, a hand like 8s full to call. Suited connector with Trey, I'd be calling in this spot. It's facing a $15 bet from Sean, who's got ace-10 offsuit, and Julian's in the middle with queen-4 of hearts. So he's fishing for hearts and gets one on the flop. It comes king-6-8. It's an interesting flop for Trey, who's got a middle pair, and it's the best hand right now. But with the king on the board, nobody's going to feel super good with the bottom pair. 3 of diamonds. If it checks around here, I think Trey might start to believe that he's got the best hand. And with a 7 on the river, now he's got 2 pairs, so he's definitely going to bet out.
Especially for only 45 minutes left, right?
Yeah, it's like, couldn't tell. Yeah, Sean called with ace-10, so that caught me off guard.
Just a little $15 value bet there at the end.
Yeah, really good bet. Well played. You know, you flop bottom pair in your first act in a 4-way pot. You don't feel very good, but, you know, that is a spot that he won a hand because nobody else wanted to take a shot at it. I think anybody would have taken a shot at that on the flop or turn, he would have folded.
Most likely. Bottom pair there.
So maybe we're just missing Dakota in this game because it's definitely slowed down a little bit.
I think you're right. Cody doesn't know what to do without Dakota there.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and then the new player sits down might change it. I don't know who's going to sit there. Justin's got ace deuce. That was the best hand pre-flop, and but we're going to see a 4-way flop because everybody just basically limped, and the flop comes 9-10-3, and Mike has got really a pair of threes. Looks like it's got the most equity. So I don't know how he knows he has the most equity, but he just bets out in that spot and gets one caller with the Jack-7. 6 of spades on the turn doesn't really change it much. Interesting hand. So Julian's thinking about Mike bet on the flop. It looks like here on the turn, Mike's betting again. I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it. I see it now. Yeah, the graphics were. They didn't come in. So Mike did bet out again. So it's like my pair of threes is good, and I'm gonna double barrel, and he was right.
Yeah, Julian decided not to chase that gut shot any further. Needed an 8 there on the river, but let it go. Did I imagine the 1 seat coming in and then leaving? I could have sworn we had a guy coming in there.
Well, the 1 seat I thought was Mike, and he was playing. He's been playing since earlier, and he was playing pretty tight, but playing his hands well. Did he do a seat change, maybe? But we definitely got a new player. Yeah, he may have just got up and left. It's like Julian's got 10s here. He's going to 3-bet from 17 to 40. It's a good size 3-bet.
We've seen your favorite hand a lot tonight, pocket 10s.
Yeah, love that hand. Justin's got pocket 5s. Reasonable call here, standard. Not going to get out of line. And not a horrible flop for 10s. He's going to find out if Justin has a queen in his hand, but C-bet here standard, somewhere $40 to $55, I would think. All right, 50 right in the middle. So that's pretty quick call. Fives probably feel the same about it. Now both of them are worried the other has the queen, so
What are you
looks
thinking
like
if you're Julian here with the tens? Justin checked in the dark before the flop and then snapped off the call before Julian could even get his chips in, and then he leads out with 100 here real quick on the turn. You know, what are you thinking if you're Justin, or if you're Julian, I'm sorry?
Yeah, I'm worried that I'm beat. I really am, because, tens are vulnerable to a hand like ace queen or king queen, and
yeah, he makes the fold too. So fives gets through there.
yeah, I'm sorry. I was sitting there talking, and my phone was on mute. I apologize. Yeah, I totally. I think that was well played. If you're in that spot with tens and you got somebody that's snap calls your flop C bet then leads out. The only thing I'm probably asking myself is, why are they leading out like that instead of check raising me on the flop? But I'm not feeling very good with tens, and
right.
I'm not worried about making this call, because it wasn't an outrageous bet. I'm worried about what's the call going to be on the river, and
right.
so I probably going to fold in that spot as well. I just don't know how with pocket fives he's decided that he's going to make that stand there, because there are a lot looser players on the table that I would be suspicious of that a play like that would work. Well played. Sean's got queens here, and he's going to 3-bet to 55. Justin with ace-10 opened. Well, not the flop you want to see with queens. They were talking about this early, the ace magnets, queens and kings. But
man, just so standard to see an overcard there with a pocket pair.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this is going check, and now such a small bet, 75. I'm surprised to check down here, and Justin's either putting on. Is he really concerned, or is he acting? I can't tell. He just calls. Yeah. Oh, all right. I thought the queens. Yeah, no, I thought the queens bet out there, and the aces were thinking about it. All right, so trip aces is going to win that pot, but I thought he missed a bet on the turn at least.
No, he boated up there on the river. It was double paired aces and nines.
Yeah, but he flopped the ace he flopped a pair of aces.
Right.
Queens checked. They both checked the turn. Check. I just didn't bet till the river. That was just weird action for queens versus ace-10. And you know what? When I see the second ace and I got queens the way that played, I definitely am going to call there. So, maybe if he'd bet out on the flop, I'm just thinking it through. Maybe if he bet out on the flop, queens folds. They had darn ace magnets and folds. Maybe the way he played it, got that bet on the river paid. All right, looking at the action, looks like Ben raised to $40 with ace-4 suited. Julian's thinking about calling with ace-6 suited, does make the call. Justin's got 10 deuce, and looks like Mike's got an ace as well. He's going to make the. All right, Rami's backing me up in the chat. I see he thought that he missed that turn bet as well when it was ace-10 versus queens. All right, flop is Jack 7, 10, 3 hearts, and of the 3 players remaining, nobody has a heart, and they're still betting pretty big into this pot. Mike's got ace-9. He's basically got ace high, and he's got and Jillian raised him with ace high as well, with ace-6 of diamonds, and now Ben with ace high, ace-4 of spades is thinking about it. So the minute I say they're starting to slow down, they're all betting and 3-betting with nothing but ace high. So the game's getting better. Sorry, guys. Looks like Christian's got pretty big hand opening up ace-king offsuit with 20. And Justin's going to defend in the hijack with king-9 of clubs. And the equity here being dominated is pretty bad. Christian's got a pretty good lead on here, 70-30, which seems to always be how I go out of a tournament, or at least that's the story I stick with. That was for you, Rami. All right, king on the turn, and Justin is going to be in a tough spot here. The ace might save him with the ace-king. But that king on the turn was a really ugly card for Justin with a king as well. But Christian obviously has the better kicker now, 2-pair. And didn't even get the call. He just folded. That ace did save him.
Blind raised.
All right, so seems like we might have a blind raise out here. I heard the table talk, so maybe somebody's raising out of turn or raising in turn blind, or maybe it's just a straddle. All right, limp with king-9. Looks like a raise to 20 with king-10 by Christian in seat 5. And Corey in seat 9 is woken up with ace-queen suited, spades. So he's going to 3-bet to 70. And not sure he's going to get any callers here. Yeah. All right. Looks like Christian's going to see a flop with king-10. He called. Flop comes 8-9 queen, 3 hearts. Christian does have the king of hearts, and Corey flops top pair, top kicker with no hearts. And Christian actually has more of the equity, even though Corey's in the lead here. Check on the turn, and the river's a 6. I'm surprised I went check, turn, and river.
Don't worry, I did the same thing to you earlier.
Christian had more equity, even though Corey had the best hand on the flop, because he had straight draws and flush draws that were both good. So he was actually a little bit better than 50-50 on that flop as a favorite, even though Corey had top pair, top kicker, the better hand at the time. Okay, they went all in. That's why it went so fast. That there was the graphics didn't catch up, and it was hard to see what actually happened. But they did go all in on that flop, which makes a lot of sense.
I haven't played that since AR.
So I'll play 6-4 this time, and it's great because you'll end up with 3 pair and lose every time. Somebody's always got the 5 or the 2 or the whatever it is.
The bingo poker.
Yeah. Deuces for a 4-card flush.
No fold home.
All right, Sean's got pocket 9s here. Seat 6. He's going to raise it up to 15. Mike right behind him with ace king of hearts. Going to be at least a couple people going to see the flop. Ben's thinking about it with jacks. Corey's actually thinking about it with pocket 8s. I guess seat 1 with jack 7. He's thinking about it. And all right, well, we got 2 decent pairs, an ace king of hearts. And Trey's going to give up a hand. Julian's going to give up his hand. And those 3 hands are going to go to the flop. Pots, well, Sean's got to decide to call. I suspect they'll both call, and we'll wow. All right, well, folded 9s. Don't necessarily agree with that, but pocket 8s is going to go ahead and force the race. 8s Ben's going to ship it in. We got ace king of hearts versus pocket eights, and we're going to run out the board. It's almost 50-50. All right, well, there we go. 6-7 queen, pocket eights. Going to win the race. No ace or a king. Nice pot.
Hey, Jack, I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, yeah, sorry. No worries. I really don't like the pocket nines folding there. And yeah, I guess I'd be okay if he just wants to call and reevaluate, but folding there is, I kind of like a raise all in with his stack size. And, you know, if you're beat with a bigger pair, you're beat with a bigger pair. But as it worked out, eights did the exact same thing, shoved, and ace king called, and we raced, and the eights won.
All right. Let's get back into it. I've missed a few hands there. I was giving some breaks.
Yeah, the
about
action's
30 minutes
starting to
left
heat
here.
up a little bit. And
Yeah.
Ben, as the new players, joined us in seat 1, and I can't tell if seat 8 or 7's empty. Can't tell which one.
I think 7's empty. Yeah, they might both be empty.
So Ben's gonna make it open up 50 for queen 6 on a 2-6-4 flop. So he's flop top pair. He was in on the button with queen 6 of hearts, and ace jack's in there as well. Going to make the call. He's on an ace draw or a jack draw, and sure enough, he hit it. Ace
I feel
on
like
the
I've
ace
seen
of diamonds.
Seen Sean call a few times in a similar spot like this with ace high on these low boards.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, and it's also brought scare diamonds, so they're just checking it down.
Yeah, he catches 2 pair there. Ben does.
Oh, he sure does.
See if Sean can fold it. No, he doesn't. He snaps that off.
Yeah, he folded the 9s and snapped.
What, did he fold a set or something last hand? I missed that.
No, he folded pocket 9s pre in a spot where it was a super tight laydown. When you're playing deep stack poker, calling, you know, big bets with medium pairs, you know, it can, you know, that deep stack poker, that's one of the tricks about playing a deep stack, getting into really mediocre spots and with a lot of chips at risk. But given the stack size there, the effective stack was, I think, about $300. I would have liked to see him just ship the 9s in right there. But it was an interesting hand. 8s woke up behind him and did the exact same thing. The 8 shipped, and the ace king called, and they raced it off, and the 8s won.
That's got to make you feel a little sick when you see the person right behind you pull that move with the, you know, lesser pair.
Yeah, exactly. Been there too many times. All right. Everybody's got cards, but we don't have any graphics. So there they come.
Looks like he folded already. We're a little behind here.
Got it.
Okay, I see what happens.
All right, it's called up. Ben's in the hijack with queen jack. Looks like he's raised it up. And looks like Joey on the button. King 9's gonna see a flop, and flop's pretty good. King 10-3. I don't mind the C bet here. Ben's going to continuation bet because he's flopped open-ended, so almost sort of betting on the draw, but staying with the lead. It makes sense, and he can represent, a hand like ace-king later if he needs to. 5 spades, it's going to go, Ben's checked. I'm not sure. Yeah, Julian's going to go ahead and bet out his king here. I'd like to see him bet about 70. Almost half pot, but he's going to bet a little smaller.
They're a little light.
Yeah. I say 70 because king 10 and 2 clubs on the flop. There's some draws there. I tend to want to charge the draws a little bit more. 50's a fine bet. I just would have liked to gone a little bit higher here because the draws are going to call 50. They're going to call 70.
Right.
And check on the river, and the 9 king, the king. Now the king won. Yeah, he did.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. He needed the ace or a 9. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The king's won, so all good.
Scary though.
Yep. No, crazy. Don't mind it, the way it played on the river. A lot of crazy.
People just like eat like spoonfuls of mayonnaise or something? Or what?
My son will make mayonnaise. Do it in the gym, John. Do it in the gym. He'll make 2 mayonnaise. Disgusting. I'm like,
I mean, I do, but I'm not.
So Elise is back dealing. One of the better dealers at Best Bet. Not that anybody's better than anybody. Jordan's a pretty good dealer too.
Appreciate that. So it looks like everybody's just sort of no raise yet. Got a couple limpers. Corey looks like he's going to go ahead and raise. He's waking up with king, queen suited clubs. He's going to make it probably 20. So yeah, it made it 27. A little on the high side, but it is a straddle. Ben's got 3-4. Ben likes to play pots. Ben's been in a lot of hands. I like the way he plays when he's aggressive and raising. Haven't seen him play out of position with a hand like this. Flop comes Jack 3-2. Ben actually makes a pair and has got the lead. Yeah, Corey just with a couple of overs, maybe a backdoor straight draw here, but not much to run with.
Yeah, so Ben's going to be rewarded for that pre-flop call. He flops bottom pair or middle pair and bets out and takes the pot down.
I think we're going to be getting a new player over here soon.
And the new dealers. The minute I acknowledge Elise is back in the game, she's gone. Yeah, I'm jinxing her good.
Say how good Billy is, and he'll probably misdeal this first hand.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
Nah, Billy's a great dealer. He won't.
Of course.
Those big live or RFID cards are tough to pitch though, so sometimes they get all caught up in your fingers.
Yeah, they're definitely a special card. They're pretty fragile too.
Yeah,
I think they've come up with better technology.
Yeah, it's hard to think of an alternative. Ben's woke up with a hand here under the gun, king, queen suited. I think that's a perfectly fine raise. He's raising on the higher side. 12x the big blind, right? Yeah, right.
But, yeah. But an under the gun raiser is pretty scary. He's betting so big that I'd typically put somebody on 10s, jacks, or a hand like ace, king, king, queen. I'd put them on ace-king more than king-queen, honestly. A lot of low-stake players like to bet their big hands big to, even though they win on pre-flop, they feel good about it. We talked about that a little earlier. I just think that bet's just a little too big for this game unless somebody wakes up with a bigger hand behind him. Yeah, some big stacks. So set. So, a mid-pocket pair is going to call there trying to set mine, but still a pretty big raise for this 2-2 game.
All right, Jack, we're about 80 hands in here. Going to be running for about 30 more minutes. Get around 100 hands out tonight in this 2-2 no limit hold'em deep stack game on a Wednesday night at Best Bet Jacksonville. Jordan Spina here, joined by Jack Sumner, GT Jack. Man, we haven't had any Jeff Sims talk. That one was eating at me for a while.
No, I understand. Oh, we got a new player in seat 7.
Yeah,
looks like Peter. Okay.
7 seat. You said Peter?
I thought that's what I heard you say. I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
No, it's JP, I believe.
JP. All right. Fair enough.
I was about to say, shoot, did I get his name wrong?
All right. So Trey's got first opportunity for a raise here. Pocket 8's in the big blind, and Julian was under the gun early position and just sort of limped. So Trey just checked. Looks like we're going to see a flop. Julian's been pretty active. I'm probably going to try and raise with pocket 8s just to build the pot. $4 in the pot. I hit a set of 8s and I can only bet $2. I'm going to raise. But as it works out, they all checked it down, and the 8 of hearts basically won it with 4 hearts on the board. So small $10 pot.
Yeah, I was out here for this hand. They're getting in a little baseball talk here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they're going through the whole Astros, Pete Rose, Hall of Fame kind of situations going on out there. A lot of interesting sports topics in the world right now.
Oh, I agree. What do you think of the XFL? Have you been spending time watching? Do you? I'm still trying to get acclimated to it.
I think the transparency is amazing. They show what the referees talk about. They let you hear their conversations. A lot of their rule changes, I think the NFL will implement. The kickoff, changes that the XFL has made. They've done a lot of progressive things that seem pretty interesting.
Yeah,
and
3-point plays, 2-point plays, after a touchdown.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I still don't gravitate to it like I will a college game or an NFL game, but I do find myself watching it if I'm watching TV on the weekend.
Oh, we got off-season football Saturday. I'm in there.
All right. So let's see. We got keep top pair King 10. Ben still got the best hand. It's not been a lot of heavy action on this one. Oh yeah, good call. He's got the flush redraw here, so he's probably going to call this bet by Ben. 25 into a $100 pot, getting 4-1. He only needs 20% equity. He's more than enough to call here.
Yeah. JP lays down the gutter, so we're heads up here. Andy gets there.
Yeah.
Corey's running good, I tell you.
Yeah, he is. And, he's first act here, and I'd like to see him bet about 50. It may not get a call, but, if Ben's got an ace, he probably gets a call. Well, it looks like Ben's thinking about it. What did he bet? 65? That's a reasonable bet.
Yeah.
A little less than half pot.
He's going to call. Does him being new in this game maybe, force him to call this more than it would if he'd been here for the whole time. You know, you got the clubs out there, you got that over out there. I find that pretty hard to call that with the king.
Yeah, I'm still Ben's still fairly new on this table. I think he's played some hands in position aggressively the right way, but you know, I've seen some plays that not so sure about yet. So that board was just so heavy with straights and flushes. To your point, he didn't seem to think about it at all.
Yeah, maybe he just wanted to get in some hands. I don't know if he's just trying to play loose for the stream or what.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, you jinxed him. I didn't jinx him.
I know. All right. Jack 9 suited's getting in here.
Yep.
Mystery hand calls. Heads up here.
Yeah. All right. It's not the worst flop for Jack 9 suited of hearts, even though it's only one heart, 8, 5, 6. You know, 7's going to give him a straight. Yeah. Check.
Card.
I would have liked to see him bet that flop. I really would have liked to see a C-bet there, but check on the turn as well. Ace of clubs, they're both scared of that, so we know what Christian doesn't have.
Gets his gutter ball, though.
Yeah, but there's just no money in the pot. There's 28 in the pot.
Right.
He's betting 75. You can't. Did he bet 75 or 20? Okay, all right.
20.
It's my color blindness getting in the way. But still, there's just no money in the pot. You get there.
Yeah. That diamond put you off at all, or?
Well, you know what? I would have expected a diamond flush draw to bet the flop or at least bet the turn. And if they got a diamond flush draw and they got a nut flush draw, then the ace of clubs is bad. I'm not sure I'm worried about a diamond in that spot. But if I get shoved on or a big re-raise, I can reevaluate and fold in that spot. I think there's a lot of opportunities for players to make some really smart, thin value bets, but they don't because they're scared of the river card completed, you know, somebody's draw. I think you can make a lot of money making some value bets once you're comfortable with the players, the position, how they're playing. In that spot, I think I'm okay with, you know, a bet. And he was able to bet 20, but, you know, the pot could have been much bigger if he was betting on that flop, having opened pre-flop and betting pre-flop, a C-bet there, that was a good board for a C-bet, I think.
Another club here would have made this real interesting.
Good point. Well, check.
Yeah.
Could have gotten a club on the turn. Yeah, ace high is just going to take it down. When's the next live stream, Jordan? Do you know? Is it this weekend?
Yeah, we are running that. What is this week? The 14th. Yep, Saturday is that 5-10-25 no limit game. So that should be a fun one. 6:30 on Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll see some of the regulars like John O'Neill and George and Wendy.
Oh yeah. And then next week we're running a 5-5 PLO. And another 5-10-25 no limit. So next week should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially with the tournament players coming in town. Christian's woke up with a big hand here. Kings. It doesn't look like anybody has anything to really come back. He's basically 3-bet for 35. Julian opened up with Jack 4, but you know, if I'm in Christian's spot, I'm 3-betting Christian a lot more than he is. I don't need kings to 3-bet Julian if I'm Christian. He's been doing this all night long, raising with hands that maybe he shouldn't be raising in, but with this table, he feels like he can raise and outplay him post flop. But Christian, kings is definitely going to 3-bet there, but there's been a lot of hands where, I think a 3-bet would have worked to a Julian Open.
All right, we're getting down to it here, Jack. Let's see if we can have some fireworks in the last 15 minutes or so.
All right.
Is that an
All right.
right there?
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him.
Oh, it's Trey. Trey came back?
No.
It says Trey.
The other side.
Oh, the other side. Okay. All right, Justin's raising it up with ace-king of spades. A really good hand. Ben's thinking about it. He's got 7-4 diamonds suited, so this could just be he's trying to make some money before they close the game down in 15 minutes, or he's just a gambler and likes to play any two cards. It's looking pretty good for him right now. 2-3. 2-3-4.
No, what do you think about Justin checking that back to him on the flop? You like to see a bet there with ace-king on that flop?
Yeah, no, 100%. He missed a c-bet. It's almost standard. Ben's playing any two cards. That range of 2-10-4 is going to hit Ben's range more than it's going to hit Dustin's range, but it's going to miss his range. It's going to miss Ben's range has been so wide that it's going to miss, a lot of his range as well. So a c-bet's standard there. If you get called, you can, see a free river by checking the turn. As it turns out, that's exactly, we got to the free river anyway with not the free river, but he got to the river anyway. And of course the king came on the river and he takes the pot down. But I think an ace-king suited on that flop is a standard c-bet, and you're going to win more pots than you lose in that spot, and you're just going to be positive EV in terms of chips c-betting in that spot. There's certain flops, and players where if it comes, a flop like 7-8, 4 with two clubs, there's 7-8's going to give so many players, 8-9 straight draws and two pair hands, and it's such a wet board connected with straight and flush draws that a c-bet just doesn't make sense. You're bloating the pot, and you really have nothing more than ace high in the range the other players are going to clearly call based on the wet flop. So there's a lot of spots where I'm not going to c-bet with ace-king, but that flop clearly was one where I think c-bet was best.
Yeah. All right, so here's a new player, James, in the 8 seat. Flops top pair here with a king.
Yeah, Ben's got bottom pair, so he's going to float it once. A little scare card comes on the turn for both players, but James going to bet out again. Some players, after I see James play for a while, he bet the same amount on the flop and on the turn, 15-15. That 15 tells me, without any other data points, that he's a little concerned by that turn card, because he made a bet like he didn't want to give up the lead, but he didn't make a very big bet like he's timid and don't want to risk too much.
Right.
That's not always the case, but, I pay attention to those little bits of details over time. It'll be a bet sizing tell at some point when I can start to add up what it means. Seeing the cards, I know what it means. I can start to get a better idea. It's a little harder in a real game where you don't always see the player's cards, but
yeah.
But just a random mini player, when I see him bet the same on the flop and then the same on the turn, and that turn is somewhat of a scare card, it is kind of a tell.
Yeah, and you'd assume if Ben had anything to call there with, he would have, he would have. But
You knew it was kind of inevitable after the NCAA.
Well, no, not just that. One of their players.
And that's what.
So Christian's got a pretty decent hand here, pre-flop, queen jack suited. It's a in vogue hand, in a good spot in the hijack to raise it up. And the blinds don't really have anything that they want to play with, so he's going to take down a small pot pre-flop. I think it's a good bet late in position like that with queen jack suited.
Cobra Kai in the YouTube chat again. Hate having to touch on the Corona issue so much, but everything as of now is running according to plan. We will obviously let you know if anything comes up, but as of now, it is business as usual.
When they say, was it like people above 60, high blood pressure, and then
We just got a limp here, Jack. What happened?
Yeah, the pot's only $6, so it's 222. We got a big pot brewing. And, I can't see the flop yet.
No, I can't either. And they're all looking like there's some technical problem. There it goes.
Okay. All right. 8, 9, 10, 2 diamonds, and it looks like
James.
they checked as well. And the 7 of diamonds. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him as well with all the weakness. I guess 8, 9, 10, he's a little worried about a straight draw, so he didn't bet. But with the diamond flush draw on the flop, I would like to have seen him try and get that $6 pot up a little higher in case the diamond came, which it did.
Yeah, good card for James there. Gets Corey to bet into him, raises and gets a fold.
Yeah, Corey roller coaster. He chose poorly that time.
I mean, you make the queen high flush there, and you get raised 20. Are you calling there just to see?
You mean if I may have a made flush on the turn and somebody's betting into me?
No, on the river there, he gets there with the queen, and he leads out for 10, and then James came over and made it 30, and he folded. Do you call that 20 just to see if he's got an ace or a king, knowing you have the third nuts?
Well, all right. Well, this is something that went around the poker industry, the idea of betting for information. He wasn't betting for information. He was betting for value with his queen, but he was also bet a very, very small amount. And then the information he got is that it wasn't good, but he still called. So
yeah,
I do that. He folded? I thought he called. Okay. All right. Well, he got his information and folded. So, in that case, okay. I couldn't tell if he called or not and just mucked his cards real quick. So.
Oh, Jack, look at this. Diamonds here one time. Let's see what happens.
Oh, wow. We got three players all with diamonds, so a lot of diamonds out. Not many left in the deck, and we got one on the flop, but queen 10 of hearts with the 4 diamonds, so the king queen of diamonds is still going to be in one of the diamond hands is going to take the lead here with top pair, top kicker. Not second nut kicker, sorry. But where I was going with that is when you bet out like that with the flush, but it's a vulnerable flush, and it doesn't have to be a flush. It could be you bet out with 2 pair on a scary board, and you get raised. That person's not scared of you, so why would they be raising? 9 times out of 10, they're going to have it. In a advanced deep thinking game, it might be a bluff, but I always, when I lead out in that spot, I lead out a bet big enough that when they re-raise me, I know that, it's a very polarizing range and they're going to have it most of the time. So I'm not necessarily betting out for value in that spot unless I think my queen of diamonds is good. But when I'm betting out for that, it's so I don't have to check and then call a big bet without any additional information. At least that way, I'm giving myself a little bit more information. And then when I get re-raised, that's pretty strong information that typically is not a spot most people will bluff. Some people will. That's as you get to the advanced parts of the game and the tougher competition. But in this spot, it was a clear fold.
Now, do you put any significance of this being a stream where he can go back and see that hand later into that fold?
Well,
you know he's going to see it either way.
Yeah, well, it depends how curious you are. You know, you're curious right there for the next 15, 10 minutes, but, you know, an hour later, the next day, are you as curious? Speaking from personal experience, I typically do. If I'm curious about a hand, I'm fishing for it pretty quick after the session's over. But I always go back in any session I play on the stream. I always go back and watch it, just see if I've given off any tells or, you know, see what I missed. You know, it's just a way to get better, and it's not that big an investment in time.
All right, Cobra Kai, live 4 hours away. How much in advance should I show to play a tournament? Yeah, you can come just day of the tournament and play. You don't have to come in any, you know, type of days in ahead and sign up. JP, WPT, best bet, going to get canceled. Not as of now. We are running full steam ahead, so we will keep you posted, but nothing has changed at the moment.
You know, and I will tell you this, or at least give it this opinion. You know, whether it's the best bet run tournament series like the summer or the winter series, or the 30K one days, or if it's when a major tour like WPT or WPT Deep Stacks comes into town, the structures of the best bet tournaments are phenomenal. They start off, you know, 100, 100, 100, 200, 100, 200, 200 ante. You know, decent starting stacks, and usually 6 or 8 levels depending on the buy-in of the tournament and the time of each level of late registration period. So, you know, if the tournament starts at 12 noon, you could probably still register at 3:30 in the afternoon and have plenty of chips in relation to the blinds to have, you know, decent play. So, you know, you can buy in last minute. You can even buy in, you know, 3 hours after the tournament starts. Most tournaments check the structures, but most best bet structures 3 hours of late reg buy-in periods, sometimes more.
Absolutely, Jack. All right, let's get in here. I think we might have this might be the last hand. We might have one more. Let's see what happens.
All right, this is the last hand coming up. Yeah. Well, they moved the button and he's shuffling, so this must be the last hand coming up. Let's go for fireworks.
Let's make it count. Now, if any of you listeners want to get... What was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, go ahead, say your thing. I was just going to say, Jordan, it's been a pleasure last hand, but I'll let you get the other stuff out of the way.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you wanted to play any future upcoming live streams, we have the schedule posted on our Twitch and email, where you can send us an email and sign up, and we will get you on the list. Hope to see plenty of new faces on this stream in the future, and if you want some fun, see yourself play, come on down to Best Bet Jacksonville.
Absolutely. All right, Queen Jack. Suited for Christian. He's going to raise it up to 25. I would as well. Well, actually, he's in the small blind, so he's facing a hijack raise. So he's going to go ahead and face a shove from that hijack. So ace-3, and he just snaps it off last hand. They're eager to get it in. Might as well. So I'm sure that had a little to do with it. And what a flop. 10-2 of clubs. So we got a club draw. 2 8s now, 8 of diamonds, 8 of hearts, and the 4 of hearts. So the ace high is going to take it down. Queen Jack had a lot of equity on that flop.
Yeah, right. That looks like it's going to do us, though, Jack.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
When is the next time you will be coming in town, or coming up to Best Bet?
Well, the WP Deep Stacks is the next thing on my calendar, and like everybody else, paying attention to the news. And I know Best Bet will update if anything changes. But like you said, looking forward to playing in another week and a half for the event 1.
And maybe we'll have you on that final table live stream, huh?
Yeah, I just hope it's not commentating.
No. All right, Jack. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Have
again.
a great night.
GT Jack signing off. Jack Sumner, been a great commentator. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Best Bet Live. This is our Wednesday night 2-2 No Limit Hold'em Deep cash game. Full schedule of upcoming live streams on twitch.tv/bestbetlive. You can also check our upcoming tournaments on our Best Bet website. And any other questions, we have email on Twitch, and we would be happy to answer anything you got. So thanks again for joining us. Jordan Spina here in the booth. Thanks again to Jack Sumner. We will see you next time on Best Bet Live.